two brothers and gamers that have been playing games since the early 1980s. Combined, they have over 65 years experience. Join them each week as they discuss and rant about gaming and entertainment news. This is Generation X Gaming.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another week, another episode of Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week, and we rant along the way. On today's show, we got lots of talk about. We got to talk about what's the biggest, most beloved franchise from 2K Games. We're going to talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows had 15 developers support studios. We're going to talk about nearly one-third of gamers only play mobile games. We're going to talk about multiverses. They announced a PvE Rift mode. We're going to talk about some Legos and PlayStation teaming up. We're going to talk about PlayStation in general, about their the ups and downs about them. Also about Microsoft as well. We're going to talk about Helldivers 2, since there was a actual Helldivers mod that came out for Star Wars. So we're going to show that off a little bit. We're going to talk about the devs underplayed Marvel's Midnight Suns, and they blame the card system. We're going to talk about the UK government has said that the game companies have no legal requirements in the UK law for compelling to protect older products, and much, much more on today's show for episode 396. You can listen to us and watch us right here on youtube.com/30NSG. You can also watch us and listen to us over on YouTube Music. You can also listen to us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor.fm. Where all podcasts are listened to. What's going on, Sarge?
Not much, man. Time warp.
Real quick.
Time warp.
Real quick. YouTube Lurker with the 10 gifted memberships to start off the stream.
10 bomb.
Yeah. Appreciate that, Lurker. So another week. Sorry to disappoint everyone. Kingard's not here. I know everyone was asking for Kingard to be on the show all the time, but he actually has an actual job, I think. So he can't always be here. So what's going on, chat? So lots of stuff to talk about. AI. We're going to talk about AI as well. Magic Dolphin, thank you very much. Oh, what happened? Uh-oh. My thing's not working. What's going on here? There it is. Thank you very much for the membership, continued membership. Appreciate that, Magic Dolphin. And a gifted membership. We can't even start the show. We just keep getting another round of applause for the gifted membership from Magic Dolphin. Appreciate that. What's going on, Mo? Siege Master, Robert Jones, Lurker. All right. So, Sarge, another week's been passed, but we're not talking about what we've been playing. Do anything? You were here this weekend. I totally forgot that you were here this weekend.
Oh God, bro! I was with you.
Yeah, you were here this weekend.
We did the show, and then I got in a car and came to you.
I know, and it feels like a week ago. Not.
It's crazy.
You left Monday, right?
It's crazy. Yes.
Monday.
This is what I'm talking about. It's crazy.
I don't understand. Like a
Is
time warp.
this lighting too bright? I feel like I'm glowy. Am I glowy?
Shut it down a little bit, but flick it once or twice down.
I feel like I'm glowy.
Sarge got a new ring light, so he doesn't know how to operate it.
I do know how to operate it. It's just a cheap one. I have to get a better one. I wasn't up on the whole ring light stuff. Now I am.
Time flies when you get older. Yeah, it does. There's a study about that. I forget what the reason it feels that way. I think it's because when you're younger, you don't know and you anticipate stuff. So it's like slower. And then all of a sudden, when you're older, you've already done it. So you understand what it is. Big Mo, 15 months. Shout out to both Hellblade 2 is coming next week. I can't wait. My most anticipated game coming Tuesday. Is that the most anticipated game? Hellblade 2?
For now. For right now. Yeah. Yeah, for now.
All right, Sarge. Let's. It's been another week, another time warp.
Is the Earth spinning faster? I mean, my clock is still correct.
Yeah, it's still the same.
I'm not sure if that's correct, Water. I mean, my clock is still correct. I mean,
scientifically proven the Earth's axis is spinning faster. Yeah, but the time for my son moves a lot slower than it does for me.
At a snail's pace.
Yeah.
Like remember when every day was forever? Like where you like when you were a kid, you're like, God, I gotta wait for tomorrow.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Like right now, we're going to Legoland tomorrow, right? We pick up my son from school because my nephew and him we're going to Legoland tomorrow. They are dying right now. They're like, oh my God, Friday can't get here fast enough. And I'm like, slow down. I don't want the weekend because I know it's just going to fly by. And they're like, it takes forever for them because they've never been, right? So
I know. I've been to Legoland. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, he's been to Legoland, but my nephew hasn't been to Legoland, so he's excited. Jason says, and then the following week, Ninja Theory will shut down. Possibly. That's possibly. What's going on, Melrose?
All right, so go with me on this one, bro. So a couple things we did this week or this weekend, right?
Yep.
So a couple things. So I know some people in chat are fathers. I know you guys are fathers. I know you got kids. Now, I know you can't get them to sit down for more than like 5-10 minutes for a board game, but I want to show you a board game that I played with my nephew and 30. So I know some of you know this.
Is this the
right? So what I all right, so
it's a classic.
If you guys like Mad Max, right? So this is basically Mad Max. Basically, right? It's a 4-player game. It's very quick, right? It teaches basic strategy. And it's good for the kids because it's destroying cars. Like,
good game.
Right, you get it, right? Now here's the good thing. Like, this is a remake. So we bought this because it's a remake of an old game from '86, right? Now you can find this pretty cheap. It was a Kickstarter project, but they do still sell it. If you get the silver box and it's got all these extra characters and stuff that your kids are not going to be interested, you will be interested in that, like all the different strategies with the different drivers. But this is just the basic set. And then I thought to myself, man, if they're doing Mad Max, do they have like the tractor trailer thing? Funny you should ask. The expansion pack for this game is a giant tractor trailer and 5 motorcycles.
Oh, nice.
Right. So you can actually play 6-player, right? So my friends and I on game day, we usually play this, and we all put $10 in a pot, and whoever is the last survivor gets the pot.
Oh, that's nice. That's good.
That's how we play this one. Right, but in case you guys are looking for a game to play with your kids when it's raining outside and the power goes out, and maybe you want to talk to them, for more than 10 minutes a day before they go back to their computer screens.
Nick doesn't want to play with his kids. Nick gave a $2 super chat, and he said, "I hate my kids." $2 super chat. Nick says, "I hate my kids."
I'm being serious. I'm not reviewing it. I'm just letting you know that it's a cool game. It's easy, right? And you can have your kids sit around a table. You can actually do like Destruction Derby type of thing.
Yeah. No, it's a fun game. It's a fun game. It's literally the most simplistic game ever. We actually played it more complicated, like the original. Like it's just whoever gets over the next line of the board, everyone gets destroyed. We made it more complicated, and it felt longer as we played it when we were kids. And now it's like 15 minutes, the whole game's over. 15, 20 minutes, the whole game's over.
Yeah, like everybody starts with 3 cars. Right, but like in the matter of the first 10 minutes, everyone's dead. You're like hitting oil slicks or flipping over. Like it's just that's why it's a fun game. It's quick. It doesn't last for hours on end. Now the other game I was playing, if you guys look at the commercial, you'll find the commercial. So the other game I'm playing is a 27-year-old game. 27, 29, 8, almost 30.
Wait a minute, you're talking about games now. We didn't even do the intro yet. Hold on 1 second. Here we go.
I thought we did the intro.
No, here it is. We're doing the intro now. Games we've been playing.
Good God.
Come on, sorry. We've only done this for 396 episodes.
I was excited.
All right. Now you could talk about what games you've been playing this last week.
All these rules. All right. So I'm playing a really old game. Some of you don't know what it is. Some of you do. It's basically Lord of the Rings, Battle of Middle-earth, right?
There's Battle of Middle-earth. You talked about this last week when Kinger was on the show.
Right. Yep, Battle of Middle-earth and Battle of Middle-earth 2. Now, I thought I was playing Battle of Middle-earth 2, and then I realized I couldn't be the dwarves. So by process of elimination, I'm like, oh, I'm playing the first one, right? Is it an old game? Is it dated? Yes. Graphics still look pretty damn good, though.
Yeah, it actually does look pretty damn good.
For 2009, those graphics are pretty good, considering what it is. And since my machine is a beast, right, it runs really quick. I forgot what playing a game and being happy was. Like I played Battlefront 2, same thing happens when I play Battlefront 2. I got a big grin and I'm just playing, because you're happy. This game, it took me 45 minutes to figure out how to play the game again because I haven't played in so long. But then I remembered, if you build a bunch of horses and you're Rohan, you just rumble across the field and you hear it in your surround sound. You hear the rumble of the horses and you just mow everybody down. It's just fun. It's a fun game.
I'm trying to show the thing on. I'm trying to show the thing on while you're talking, and it kept playing the audio.
Yeah, I miss fun games. Just fun. Not what's my homework assignment? What do I have to do? What do I have to get?
Is there a battle pass, Sarge?
There's no battle pass. There's no nothing. Right?
Can I earn the stuff in the game? Is there something I could pay extra money for? Is it boring a little bit? Sometimes. Is it are you guys OP? Can you play against somebody online back in the day? Is it like ill balanced? Yeah, for certain things. It is a game of paper, rock, scissors. It was out around the time of the original StarCraft series. 2004, I think this is when. Yeah,
20 years.
2005, 2004.
Yeah.
Anyway?
Well, I haven't got a lot to play with because I was up with CU. So
that was 4 days ago. That was 4 days ago.
Yeah, but I go to work. I come back. I go to work. But there's a couple of things I'm playing with. No one's gonna know what they are, though. I play it for a couple hours here and there. I
can look it up.
I still have the box. Still have the box not open yet.
Oh, you know what? We'll wait. We'll wait until we talk about Assassin's Creed, and then you can show the box. Okay. I want to show your box.
Everybody knows what my box is.
I know, but I'm going to show the box when we talk about Assassin's Creed because people are saying that the Outlaws game and the Assassin's Creed game for $70, it's still worth the price, and then it's $110, $130, and yet you get more for $80 from Baldur's Gate 3 with stickers and posters and maps and booklets and CDs and soundtracks. $80. But yet they're all digital and you get nothing. And you have to wait for the season pass, which, again, season pass should stand for season, meaning 4 seasons, right? They just have 2 seasons and they call it a season pass, but really it's just 2 DLCs, right? That's what but they like to use the words of season pass.
It's a play on words. Yeah, it's a play on words. Aku, I know what you're talking about. I always play like on a harder difficulty because I know I'm going to figure it out too quickly. But the AI in that game is brutal regardless. Like it makes, unless you cut off its income, it just keeps making guys on top of guys on top of guys. It's like the movie. 10,000 orcs are coming at you and you got 12 guys to fight them. Like it's right. So the only way you can counter it in a harder difficulty is to build the Rohirrim and make a big wall of horses and run them down. Like that's the way you win. Otherwise, if you try to fight them guy to guy, you're dead. They just overwhelm you. It's just fun. Just a fun game. I want someone to pick up the license again and make a remaster of it. I'm so glad those guys who helped us by cracking the game and you could play it, you can look it up online. And you don't have to pay for it.
I'm gonna game I've been playing.
Why am I whispering?
I have no idea why you're whispering. Hold on 1 second. Let me try to find somebody that is just. You know what? I'll just do the announcement trailer.
Dave Rhodes, big price drop. You mean like the price drop, right? Like it's not a big price drop. It's the price drop. That's what it is. Like the clock ticks. It's like Cinderella. Midnight, the clock strikes and the Ubisoft prices come crashing down. That's usually what happens.
Altern says, I can no longer find that edition. What edition, Altern? Are you talking about Battle for Middle-earth? Well, let me tell you something.
Don't do it, bro. You're gonna get in trouble. Wait till after the show's over.
Contact me in Discord.
Yep.
Contact me in Discord.
Yep. Don't do it here.
Yep. If your Redfall season pass stands for it's a new season, let's pass on the fucking content. That's right. Dave Rose says those Ubisoft games are nowhere near worth the Outlaws of my anticipated list. Now I'm waiting for a big price drop. Yeah. Well, they drop. I would pick them up around $30. $30, you get all the DLC and stuff like that, right? So, any other games you're playing, Sarge?
Trying to play Baldur's Gate, but not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, I can give you a link. Baldur's Gate 3 Collector's Edition. Baldur's Gate 3 Collector's Edition, what do you mean you can't find the edition anymore? You literally go to their site and buy it. Like, they don't run out of them. Like they literally said that you can constantly buy that edition, right? Like, what do you mean you can't find it?
I'll tell you what. I'll sell you this one for a buck. I'll sell you this one for $1.45. How about that?
It's sold out. Oh, for God's sakes. They said they wouldn't sell out. Are you sure you look at the right site? Hold on a second.
They didn't sell out, or they didn't sell out? Which you're talking about the word sell out, not sell out. Right.
Let's see. Baldur's Gate Deluxe Edition. Let's see. Yeah, accept all.
That's right, Water.
Pre-order now.
That's right.
What do you mean?
You'll get the Baldur's Gate Collection Edition from me.
Pre-order now.
And the Marvel's Avengers pins.
I'm going to the site right now. Hold on. Let me see.
Maybe
it looks like revisiting a merch store. Okay, checking the regions. No, I don't want to change my region. No, I don't want to change my region.
That's it, Ultron. Just change your region.
Hold on a second, because right now, pre-order. If I hit pre-order right now, yeah, it says it's in stock. What are you doing?
Change your region. Change your region, Altern. They don't like where you live.
You went to the shop of Larian.com and clicked on pre-order for the deluxe edition. It told you it was sold out.
It just says, it does a little sad face. It goes, sorry.
Collector's edition is different than the deluxe. Oh, well, if you want the collector's edition, that's completely different. The box that I bought Sarge is the deluxe edition, right? And that's in stock all the time. Collector's edition, you can't get anymore. The actual deluxe edition, then yeah, you can't get the collector's edition. Yeah, the deluxe edition you can buy right now.
I thought mine was the collector's edition.
No, you got the deluxe edition. I'm sorry, Sarge.
So what's the collector's edition?
You couldn't get it because it sold out within like
10 seconds.
Like 10 seconds, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he can't make a PSN account for his region. Yeah, no, they don't sell the collector's edition.
Computer says no. Sorry.
All right, so I played a game this weekend. I got in because of Water Bear. Water Bear played Marvel's Rivals. Okay, let me bring up this and I'll show some gameplay while it's playing. Water Bear got to level 6. He gave me the invite code. There was a bunch of stuff that happened last week just too. There was some drama behind Marvel Rivals before the game even came out. If you were a content creator, so what happened is if you were a content creator, you had to sign a thing that said you could not talk about this game in a negative light whatsoever. You couldn't compare it to other games like this game. You couldn't say anything about it. It was a non-disparage clause. Okay, you couldn't say anything negative about the game. Since that point, they turned back around and said, sorry, it was the miswording or whatever, and you're allowed to say it. I don't care if it was like that anyway. I would talk about exactly how I feel about the game. I had fun playing the game. This is not my gameplay. This is just the trailer that's playing over and over. Okay. It's a fun game, right? And the problem with me with this game is I feel like this game is 6 years too late. Okay. It's
Yes.
if this came out instead of Overwatch,
Yes.
right? If this came out instead of Overwatch, I think this would be a huge success. But this is 6 years late, and I think it will have its core group. Okay, they're gonna have a nightmare balancing characters in this game. Okay, which I knew before I even played the game. Okay, when I played the game, some of the characters felt really slow. The camera angle's a little weird and stuff like that. I enjoyed the game. I played a lot more offline, where I just played against the AI just to get used to the characters and whatnot. And I enjoyed it. This game needs a PvE mode. Overwatch, I said it in the past, wanted the single player, not the single player, but PvE type of story mode. They need to do that with this as well. We'll talk about another game later that's doing a PvE mode in the game. They need to put a PvE mode in this game. More characters, more PvE. A lot of the characters are hard to balance. Some of the things are OP. The Punisher is Soldier 76, 100%, right? The Hulk and Penny Parker are like Diva. There's a couple other characters that are just like, everyone represents another person from the Overwatch game. Punisher, you were here, Sarge, when I was playing. I was devastating. I was devastating people with Punisher. I was like, this dude's OP. Then I played Rocket Raccoon, and it was the same thing. I was just destroying it. It's getting like 38 kills, 42 kills.
But to be fair, you weren't playing.
No, I understand that. But when I was playing other characters like Doctor Strange or whatever, I would get like 10, 12, right? But with these guys with the guns, I was just mowing down people left and right, right? So it's a fun game. It feels cool. But I like it because it's Marvel, right? I didn't like Overwatch because I didn't know the characters. And yeah, you were learning the characters, but obviously I like this. One, it's third person. You get to see the characters and whatnot. Obviously the board I thought was cool. Some cool things they do with this is that the board there's certain pieces that are breakable. So you can break the walls and different things, the bridges. And then all of a sudden it comes back. Loki has this like power and it appears again and you can break it again over and over. Loki's a pretty cool character. Yeah, Punisher is stronger than Hulk. Yeah. So there's a Storm is another one. Hela can 2-tap people, right? There's a lot of balancing issues with this game.
Yeah, but that's the issue. When you introduce Marvel characters into a group of people that understand the Marvel characters, you just can't haphazardly throw them into a game willy-nilly. Everyone's going to be scrutinizing the powers and the abilities, but you wanted to make a Overwatch game with more interesting characters, so this is what you came up with.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I absolutely love the art style in this game. Love the art style.
But there was a balancing issue with Overwatch in the beginning too.
Sure. But there's a bigger balance issue with this.
Yes.
Right? Because a lot of people can't get it through their head that because like Hulk should just Kinger said it last week, right? Hulk should destroy everybody because it's the Hulk. But it's a video game and we understand that. Right.
Yeah, but you guys are in this room, like the room we're in right now, and this is going to go for a theme for the rest of the show. Like the room that we're in right now are like-minded individuals inside of this bubble of gamehood that we grew up with. So we know what we know. This game is just for shits and giggles for some kids to play a team shooter. Like that's what it's for.
I do believe there is a PvE mode, and there's a small line that they say before the match starts, right? Two characters will banter back and forth, okay? And I heard Storm in one match, and you guys probably heard it as well, that they were talking about they have to stop Doom. They have to stop Doom. So apparently there's some storyline going on because you're fighting other characters from multiverses across. And I think what they're saying is that Doom opened up something to make this happen. So I wonder if there is a PvE mode in this game with a story mode where you have to go up against Doom. Doom will probably be a character in the game. Again, I want this game to succeed. I want this game to be good. But right now, there's just... Obviously, it's doing the exact same plan as Overwatch. Overwatch came out in early access, which this is, like a test. Then it came out again, and then it launched like a year later. This is an early access test. They're going to have another beta down the road, and then it'll probably come out sometime in early 2025 or next year during the summertime. It's a free-to-play game. Overwatch was supposed to be a free-to-play game, but then it charged $40 for that as well. I would hate for this game to make the same mistakes as Overwatch did with not putting a single-player or PvE mode in this and the balancing that they do, right? I don't want them to make the same mistakes. Besides this, I just played Fallout 76, and I played some Star Wars Battlefront 2.
You played a shit ton of 76 when I was up there. Like,
what's that?
That's like your drug. Like you played a crap ton of 76.
I went in there for 20 minutes, did my dailies, and then shut it off. I don't play it a lot. Like today, I played with Mr. Luke. We got on, and we were done with 25 minutes. We did our whole dailies, done. And then he bullshitted for 40 minutes while he showed me a DC mobile game.
Speaking of a DC mobile game, right? Speaking of DC, like in my head, I see the game that they can start with that would actually be a true live service that you don't have to start off as a mega game immediately. It would be the Justice League. Right. It would be you starting off as Batman, right?
Right.
Playing basically a Batman game, right? And this is how you sell it by not saying anything, right? You think it's a Batman game. But what ends up happening as you're playing the Batman game, you guys can put the Arkham thing if you want to put it in there, right?
Be careful, Sarge. People want a Batman game. They really want a Batman game.
No, I know, but they think it's a Batman game. But as you're playing, you realize that you're unlocking the other guys from DC. You're unlocking Aquaman and then you're unlocking Wonder Woman, and then you progress through the game by unlocking the other heroes and then going on their story mission, but you don't get it all at once. That's why it's a live service.
Right.
And then once Superman, of course, is last. Let's be honest, Superman's last, right? We'll make it like the top 6 guys. We'll put Flash and Green Lantern in there as well, just for the beginning guys, right? And then when you get to Superman, you've been playing hundreds of hours by the time you get to Superman, right? You get to Superman, and then you get to leave the planet and go after Darkseid, and the game just keeps going from there. Like that's the Marvel game.
Well,
that's the DC type of game. Like that's what you
that's
need.
DC Universe Online. That's what that is.
Yeah, but it's not like these kind of graphics, bro.
Oh no, yeah.
Right?
Oh, if you give me a game with this type of graphics, like DC Universe Online or Marvel Omega or Heroes, whatever, yeah, I would be happy with that. All right, let's.
Batman gets shot in the face. Come on, creature. You don't like Batman?
He's talking about the Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
he's talking about the Suicide Squad stuff. All right, let's go to top stories. All right. Let's start off with a slow one. Okay. We'll start off with 2K Games. 2K Games to reveal the next iteration of its biggest and most beloved franchise on June 7th. Okay. So presumably the announcement will not be related to publishers' annual release like WWE or NBA. Instead, strongly believe that the game could relate to Borderlands series. Now, earlier this year, Gearbox had already announced that Borderlands 4 was in active development, which has also been in development for a number of years. And in March of 2021, Randy Pitchford said that the Gearbox is working on the big one when it comes to Borderlands series. Now, suggested that the game has been in development for at least 3 years now. Now, apart from Borderlands, other franchises that fit this category from Mafia and also BioShock. Now, when they say the biggest and most beloved franchise, you would have to think Borderlands, right, Sarge? I don't think it's BioShock. I don't think it's Mafia. Yes, it's beloved, but Borderlands is a beloved game.
I think they're trying to screw us all. I think it's a sports game.
Oh.
Beloved series, 2K Sports. It's the 2K Sports game. That's what it is. Like everyone thinks it's Borderlands, but really it's another sports game. That's what it is.
Well, do you know what I think it is? People are not going to like this.
Well, I don't like that it's a sports game.
Well,
already.
This is what it is. Are you ready? I'm going to put this is a prediction.
Creature, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a sports game.
No. Prediction right here. Are you ready? It's going to be a Borderlands game.
Wait, we got to do the thing. Ooh.
All right, it's going to be. Wait for it. You guys are going to hate this. I'm putting it out there. Are you ready? Putting it out there. It's going to be a Borderlands game, but it's going to be a live service game.
Oh God.
It's going to be a live service Borderlands game because 2K is looking for that next online live service game, and they're going to use the Borderlands franchise to make the live service game for them.
Are we in agreement though that the original storyline for Borderlands was good on its own? Like you're a guy powering up, fighting worse and worse enemies that are badder and badder, and then you're supposed to find like the ultimate vault someplace, and then you realize that the vault that you open isn't the real vault, so we have to go to a different planet and go after those vaults. Like that's a true looter shooter.
Right.
Like we're going after the next case of weapons. Like it was fine the way it was. Why did they have to deviate so much and turn it into this other thing? Why?
Krebsy says, "See, I didn't play 3." Krebsy says they somewhat set Borderlands 3 up to be a live service game, so that tracks. Me and Sarge boycotted Borderlands 3 when it came out. Okay. I played Wonderlands. That's the one. I'll tell you what though. Wonderlands I paid for, bought. We were going to play it with Lona. We played it one night. We had connection issues. Never touched it again. Okay. It came and went. I maybe put 5 hours into it, and that was it. Okay. Tiny Tina Wonderlands. Yeah, I have to go back. I've never finished the game. Never finished Wonderlands. I totally forgot that I owned it.
I think as far as collection of games into one giant story, I think Borderlands 2 with all of its DLC was the perfect story arc for that type of game.
Right.
Like, it could have been horribly wrong. It could have been horribly boring. It could have been horribly overpowered. But like, what they did in that game across the expansion packs and you being able to level up your character and not just level it up, but they actually heard everybody talking as the game was going on. Remember when we said, "Man, I wish I could go down more than one tree."
Yeah.
Right. If we could go down more than one tree, it would be so much more crazy because your guy gets so much more powerful. And they're like, and by the time we got to that second DLC, they were like, "Yeah, you go. Here's unlock it. We're gonna unlock it. You get down the next tree." Like, what? Right? You get down the next tree. Like, yeah. And so you basically were walking around like Jesus, depending on what guns you found. Like I had for my Siren character, for Maya, I had the B, the unlimited B, or the B shield with the unlimited pistol.
Oh,
right.
And what was the gun called? It was called Infinity, wasn't it?
Infinity pistol. Yeah. And I found one with a shot speed that was like 75% or something. So basically when I pulled the trigger, it just sounded like a chainsaw. And as long as I didn't get hit and I had the B shield up, I would just melt people.
Yeah.
Just literally melt them.
I miss playing that game.
Just fun, dude.
Yeah, Borderlands 2 was such a Jason says, why did you boycott 3? Dupless kind of answers the question. He does answer the question for you. Gearbox, back then, I actually played, I was with Dupless and Brainchild and a bunch of other people at a convention, and we played Borderlands 3 as a demo, talked to the devs. I really liked what it was. We played through it, like the demo. We played it multiple times at the show. And I was like, oh, I'm excited about it. I got back from the show. Then news broke that this guy who was leaking stuff, but it was just information that they were doing themselves. He was one of the number one Borderlands streamers out there. They silenced him, and they sent suits to his house, and they intimidated him, and literally shut his whole they crushed him. They destroyed his whole channel. And I went, yeah, you know what? I don't want to deal with that, and I just didn't want to support a company that was literally sending Men in Black to your house, right? I was like, I'm good. They can have their game. I'll pick it up later down the road, which I never did. Never played it. Never tried it after that demo that I played at the convention. And good reason too. It was one of the worst Borderlands games, and I owned every single Borderlands up to that point. Then years passed. Then Wonderlands came out, and I picked it up, and it was okay. I didn't hate it. It was just very short. It was a different type of Borderlands game. It wasn't a traditional Borderlands game. You know what I mean? So that's the reason I didn't play Borderlands 3. So yeah, I think this way they're going to do this announcement they're going to do, I think they're going to do a Borderlands live service. They're like, we hear you. We hear that you hate live service games and microtransactions. We're going to put all of that inside of Borderlands 4, right? It'll be
beer.
Yeah, someone said it earlier. Maybe it'll be called Borderlands World or Borderlands Online or whatever you want to call it, right? All these vault hunters going around, and you get to go to all the different places and scavenge for all stuff. It'll be this massive MMO Destiny-esque light type of MMO light game type of thing.
Well, the fun part about it is the characters played differently. Yes, you could get the same guns as your friend, but the way your character was played differently, and the bonuses you got for the character paired up better with certain weapons. So like if you were like the assassin type guy, he played with the sniper rifles better than the other people. Like he had the bonuses for sniper rifle. So like it wasn't like everybody could be everybody, but it let you pick the characters you wanted to be and then level them up. Right. And I remember I leveled up everybody. Like I had all 6 characters to level 72 plus the bonus. Like overpower, whatever was it, OP 6 or 7 or some nonsense. Like I literally played it until there was no other reason to play it. Like that, that took a while.
Even then, though, you still wanted to play it. You still wanted to play it.
Well, because the
loop of doing the thing was because even if you had the thing and someone came on, you're like, I need to level up. You're like, oh, let's run it, and we would run bosses over and over.
Well, because it wasn't. I don't want to say it incorrectly. The way the guns dropped in Borderlands 2 is the same way the guns dropped in Division 2. Like you'll get the same gun,
right?
But the stats on the gun are different,
right?
So we both have the same gun, but you like mine better because the stats are in the spots that you like better. So now you start farming for that gun.
Right, you just farm
to
the
get
boss.
better version.
Hey.
Right.
Yeah. Which I said Suicide Squad should do and Marvel's Avengers should have done. And like, there needs to be something that you're going back to getting. Like, the gear needs to drop from these things, and that's what it should be. So, all right. So from that, so do you think it's Borderlands though, Sarge? Do you think the beloved game would be Borderlands? Do you think it's Mafia? Do you think it's something else?
I don't want to fall for the picture of the Borderlands character on the article. I believe it's a sports game.
A sports game.
And I'll tell you why. Because the 2K
NFL 2K football coming back.
The 2K sports series was the best
NFL game. ESPN football was the best.
Sports ever. Right. 2K had the best sports game. So if we're using the word beloved,
that was beloved. Right? It was beloved.
I would say sports game. Maybe a new version of the sports game. That's what I'm going to go with.
That would be interesting if they came back.
Borderlands are too easy.
That would be interesting if they came back. Now, I don't know when the NFL's contract ends with Madden, because if they come back with a football game and it's not NFL, then there's no point to bring it. But NFL 2K was a beloved franchise 20 some odd years ago. But Borderlands, I think, is that beloved game now. They do have an NFL 2K in development. Do they, Creature? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe ESPN comes back with 2K.
When you say beloved, it's almost like a call to the past as well.
Yeah, no.
When it's beloved, it's way in the past. Borderlands is not way in the past.
Well, it's still a beloved game.
Yeah, but 2K Sports Series is way back.
But Borderlands is a beloved franchise, right?
Well, no. The first two were
it's still a beloved franchise.
Whatever was happening after that was not. But yes.
That would be interesting.
Oh, don't ruin it for me, Brain. Don't say that. Don't.
I'm pretty sure they announced that it was a mobile game. Oh, for the 2K one, Eclipse, the sports game is going to be a mobile game. Just make it like Temco Bowl. Yeah, that would be good, Dave. All right, so the next story I want to talk about is the Assassin's Creed. Now, a lot of people are talking about it for other reasons. I don't really care to bring those up. Like,
which face do I have to put on to talk about this?
We're just talking
be normal on this one.
We're just talking about Assassin's Creed for what off this article. This is what we're talking about, Sarge. Assassin's Creed Shadows has 15 developer support studios. Okay, Assassin's Creed Shadows, led and developed by Ubisoft Quebec, has had an impressive 15 other studios developing it over the years. Okay, as spotted at the bottom of the official Assassin's Creed Shadows website, it's displayed all the developers who worked on this game, and Ubisoft Quebec is the main developer. Right, so they have 15 studios working on this one Assassin's Creed game. Okay, just to put it in perspective, although the new might not be as interesting to some, the number of 16 total studios is one of the largest numbers of Ubisoft title, and I've personally seen. For context, Skull and Bones, another Ubisoft title, only had 11 studios working on the development, and that was nearly a decade. Right now, obviously, Assassin's Creed hasn't been in this particular Assassin's Creed hasn't been in development for 10 years, but Skull and Bones has been in development for over 10 years, and it came out and it was in a kind of a rough state, and obviously it'll get better over the course of the seasons and whatnot. But what do you think about this, Sarge? 16 studios, right, working on this one Assassin's Creed game. Now, obviously, they're all working on all the Assassin's Creed games, right? You know what I mean? Like, they have a lot of Assassin's Creed games in the works coming, and I'm sure that all these studios are all working on all of these games, and they kind of like hand it off to each other as it gets to certain areas or certain progress.
I mean, I get it, but don't you find that they're putting all their eggs in one basket when they're doing this much for Assassin's Creed? Like, they think like this is going to be the game that's going to be their GTA. Like, that's the impression I get, right? The way that they're talking about it almost says to me like they walked into the house. They said, "All right, we got to get rid of all this crap. We're getting rid of everything, right? What can we pick up, redo, and make it a GTA? What do we got? Assassin's Creed. We can do Assassin's Creed real easy, boss." Right. Like, okay, let's do that with Assassin's Creed then. So like, that's what we're doing. They decided we're clearing out the trash, we're clearing out the garage, we're focusing on Assassin's Creed, 16 studios, live service, we're gonna go for it. I'm like, all right, I get it, dude. Everyone loves Assassin's Creed. But I said it earlier today. I'm like, so when do I get to stand on my soapbox and say that the AC series is just samey? Like,
Right, correct. Yeah.
you tolerate the game because
You love what you love, right? You love
I,
what you love. Yeah.
I get it. I'm
Yeah.
not mad.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you're making another Assassin's Creed game, and now because we're in a different setting,
Right.
you can tolerate the same quests over again because you're looking at different shit for the next 30 hours. Like,
take
otherwise,
fetch quest, go murder someone. Take fetch
Like,
quest, go figure out puzzle. Go take a fetch
Yeah.
quest, right? And again, you can
But-
be very generic with that with any game out
but
there.
but that's I'm not complaining. What I'm saying is the setting of the game is important. But at what point? At one point, have you played it out? Like what time period and what country do you have to go to before you start saying to yourself, "All right, I think we're good." Like, is the next one going to be like in Panama or like what? How many countries are you going to go to? We're going to do around the world tourist thing with Assassin's Creed. Like,
Right.
yes, it's a fun game, but after a while, it's played out. You've done what you've done. It's a great series.
Here's my worry with this many studios working on it, right? Again, Skull and Bones has 11 studios working on it. And obviously it got rebooted 4 times and they didn't know what they wanted, what that game was. The identity of that game, what it started as and what it is today are 2 different things, right? The Assassin's Creed games know what they are. They know what they are. So no matter what it is, right? So is it bad that they had 15 studios working on this one game? Now,
What does that mean?
well, I'm going to tell you what it means. I think it was rushed. Okay. Now I understand they said it probably been working on it for 4 years, but I think and news is coming out that they made one game and it got completely changed. Now, take what you want with that. I don't know more information of that yet. I just saw a video earlier and they said that it was told to them that the studio completely changed the story for what the character is now. I don't know if that's true or not. Take it with a grain of salt. Hold on, grain of salt. Take it with a grain of salt. Okay, so take it with a grain of salt. That's a lot of salt. Okay, I don't know if they changed it. A part of me thinks that the reason they have this many studios working on it is because they were behind times with it. They were making changes, and they said, you know what? We need to put as much people on this thing as possible. Who else is doing this right now? Right? What other studio, what other company is doing all hands on deck for the next iteration of the same game? EA with Battlefield game, right? They're putting everybody on it, which means that there could be problems with this game. Now, obviously, they didn't show any gameplay. I watched the trailer for the first time today. It came out yesterday. I watched the trailer. They showed no gameplay. I watched a 14-minute video on IGN doing a deep dive into this, and they interviewed the developers. No gameplay. Now, I get it. People can come out and say, well, they're holding the gameplay back because next month for the show or whatever. And all I'm saying is, you want me to get excited about a game that you're showing me nothing. You're telling me about these stories and things, but I just want to know what the gameplay looks like.
Standard marketing hype. Standard marketing hype.
So I think that something behind the scenes went awry with this a little bit. Okay, and we knew this as Assassin's Creed Red, and there's Assassin's Creed Green, and whatever else. So we'll see what happens when the game comes out. Obviously, I don't think it's going to be a shitstorm, right? I mean, the last Assassin's Creed I played, which made me stop playing Assassin's Creed, was Unity, okay, which was terrible, and they rushed that out the door, okay? So I'm getting a little bit of vibes, right? Everyone's trying to hype it up because it's in the, it's Japanese, and it's with samurais, and I'm like, cool, but I'm gonna hold off because I'm not a big fan of Assassin's Creed. So I haven't played any of the new ones, which is Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, Mirage, and now Shadows. So we'll see what happens when the game comes out. I hope it's good, but this many studios, what do you got? 10 people in each studio, and there's 150 people? No, there's literally like hundreds of people at each studio, and they're all working on this one game.
I don't see how the number of studios working on it is supposed to be better or worse than just one studio working on it. I think maybe, just maybe, that they have that many studios looking at it. I won't say working on it. I'll say looking at it, because maybe they want like a fresh set of eyes. Because if you're working on something for too long, sometimes you don't see all the angles that you're supposed to see. So other people who are in the company, you ask them to look at it, and so put their little spin on it, and then you kind of like go through it again. Like, that's good for the game, because sometimes you go blind, right? You're working on the thing for so long, you go blind on it. You can't see the things that you're supposed to see. So maybe that's it. But to say that 16 studios or even a bunch of people more than normal are working on the game doesn't make it that it's going to be better, right? I look at it after looking at the trailer. I look at it and go, okay, they were looking for another Assassin's Creed to make. They probably sat down. They thought, well, what can we do currently? What time period can we pick? And I think and remember, games take long to make, guys. It's not quick. It's not a quick turnaround.
3 to 5 years. Yeah.
All right, it's not a year and a half to 3 years now. It's 3 to 5, right? So they picked feudal Japan because the last 2 single-player games that did really well, Ghost of Tsushima and what was the other one? Sekiro, right? Like all those Japanese samurai type games, and what was the other one? Wukong?
No, that's not out. That's not out yet. But you're thinking of
but you know what I'm talking about?
Rise of Ronin. It just came out. Yeah.
Right. So that kind of genre was well taken. People gravitated toward it real well, and so they decided to pick feudal Japan because that was what the train was at the time, right? So that's the direction they went. Now, I don't know a lot about Assassin's Creed anymore because I stopped playing. I think after Brotherhood.
It was Brotherhood for you.
Brotherhood or Unity, one of those two, right? I didn't even play Black Flag, right? Like I get it. Like I understand. Like people love AC, like I love GTA. Like I get the format, I know the game, I know what's going on. Like I know what keeps me hooked into the game. I get it. Right? So I'm just saying that with that many studios working on a game, I don't automatically believe that it's going to be firing on all cylinders day one. But the way that they're talking about it, if you're talking about making an Assassin's Creed game, but a live service version, right?
I don't know if it's a live service yet, but yeah.
I've seen a couple little blurbs that say that you only have to be online to download the game, and then afterwards you don't have to be online to play the game.
This is a standalone game. This is not an online game.
Right. So they're trying to make you feel at ease that you're not constantly online with this game. Like I'm hoping that it's a old school game done proper, if that's the nicest way I can say it. Because
here's the thing I don't like. They're doing the same format as Star Wars Outlaws, right? And this is what Ubisoft wants, right? All their games have the same recipe, where they have a season pass, they have the $70 version, the $110 version, the $130 version, and then they have the $18 Ubisoft Plus, right? This morning I joked around and said, "Hey, let's take a look at the Assassin's Creed Shadow price tag," and I brought up Outlaws because it's the exact same thing. But it was a blue screen, and then it was a red screen, and then it's so they have where they're charging this game. They really want you to get the $18, right? Because their games are set in a way where they're wide open worlds. They want you to play as much time in there. This is why Avatar of Pandora, Frontiers of Pandora, is a super wide open game. Get lost in, play as much as you want. Keep you entertained. Do the side quests, do the fetch quests, or whatever you want to call them. All right. Now the Assassin's Creed game comes out. Same thing. Open world game. It's always been. Okay. Large. I think they said this is one of the largest ones they've ever made map wise. Then you also have Outlaws, which is again an open world Star Wars game, multiple planets, big thing. They're trying to get you to not pay the $70, not pay the $110, not pay the $130, just like I said for Outlaws. Right? Just like I said for the other games in the past, they want you to get that $18 price point to get on because they're trying to get you there just for 3 months, right? I said the same thing in the past about Game Pass. They just need you on there for like 3.5 months for Game Pass subscription to get what they want out of you, right? Is if that's the average,
the encapsulation time where you're going to stay,
right? In that 3 months, if you just play those games, or maybe you get the DLC, maybe you get a microtransaction, maybe you purchase the game afterwards or whatever. That's what Ubisoft is trying to do with their games, and they have such a plethora of these gigantic games. A plethora, yeah. You have Skull and Bones. It's a wide open world live service game. You have Pandora, which is an open world game. You have all the Assassin's Creed, which is open world games. You have Outlaws that's coming out. It's an open world game. So a lot of this stuff is to just keep you, and they want you to get that tier, right? Which means the game is not really worth $70. It's not worth $110. It's not worth $130. It's worth $20, $25, right?
But the way it's presented, it's almost like leading a dog with treats.
Sure.
Right? They show you how expensive it's going to
be.
Look
at all of this.
Look at all of this.
It's Hansel and Gretel, baby. That's what it is.
Right. Instead of paying the $130, you could just pay $18. It's just $18.
Yeah. You want all the candy? Come into my house. And they come in the house and they feed them, make them nice and fat, and then throw them in the pot, right? That's the Hansel and Gretel. That's what it is.
Is that what we're going to call it now?
It's the Hansel and Gretel.
Are we calling the Ubisoft marketing strategy the Hansel and Gretel?
It's the Hansel and Gretel. That's exactly what I'm calling it from now on.
It's official.
Chat, market. That's what it's called. The Hansel and Gretel.
I'm writing this down.
Yep.
Marketing.
You want the Hansel and Gretel, but you also want the Goldilocks, right? You want the Goldilocks, Hansel and Gretel, and that's the perfect recipe for what the companies want.
But they want you in the system. They don't want you just playing a game anymore. So you have to make the game large enough to where it's not going to be finished in the month, right? You make the game big enough, right? Let's not forget that a team of psychologists, a team of sociologists, they hire all these other people besides game devs to analyze how we play games. So you factor in how many hours a week do people play? How many hours a day? When do they play the most? Is it on weekends or is it late night? Right? They go through all this premise. They go through all of it. And so they figure out, well, if we make the game like this, average playtime, they're going to have to be inside the game for at least 3 months. So that's 3 months of Game Pass or 3 months of PS Now or whatever service it is, because there's no way for you to burn through it unless you're a real kid who doesn't have any obligations. You're just going to play games. That's fine too. But I mean, let's be honest. I've never seen an advertisement so blatant to actually try to sell me the problem legit to my face,
right,
and then offer me the solution.
Offer the solution. Right. This game's way too big. You don't want to pay $130.
Right. You
want to pay the $18. Come on. Have this candy cane. Come on in. Here's a lollipop. Right.
Right.
Take a seat.
It's what it is.
Here's a gobstopper. There you go.
It's what it is, though. It's almost funny because a lot of people just look at it and like, it's just another day. It's a Tuesday or it's a Wednesday, right? I look at it and I see the transition on how they've been marketing to us over time, and I just laugh when I see it. When I look at those screens and I see the price points of the 3 or 4 tiers that they want you to do, they say it like it's no big deal. Like this Ford F-150 is $95,000. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, that's what it is. And you're like, Ford F-150 is $95,000. Like, I remember getting that car. It was like
48. Yeah.
Like, when I got the car, it was 43. You guys are, and they say with a smile on their face, like, yeah, it's 98. That's what it is. Like, and so like, that's what they're doing with video games. Like, yeah, the Assassin's Creed game, 130. That's what it is.
Well, going from what they're doing here to, there was a study. Okay, the next story we're going to talk about, there was a study about nearly 1/3 of the gamers only play mobile games. Now, I know what's happening right now. In chat, everyone just heard this, and they're like, they weren't paying attention, but now they are. Their ears perked up, right? And they're like, nobody wants to play a mobile game, 30. But in this article,
is a fishbowl. Right? This is a fishbowl.
Yeah, we are a fishbowl, right? This is a small... finite
this room right now, this
1%ers of the gaming industry, right?
You can't even fit a koi in the fishbowl that we're living in with this room.
We're packed. We're in our bubble, right? We don't believe that this is happening. In 2023, nearly 2/3 of the U.S. population was playing games. Okay, was once the niche hobby years ago is now rivaling or even surpassing music, TV, and movies, which 100% it's past. Okay, and sports as a favorite hobby. But while gaming discussions, it commits frequencies of focus on Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, and PC gaming, there's a major group we sometimes overlook, and nearly 1/3 of gamers who exclusively play on mobile. Now, I know what you're thinking. Krebsy said this in Discord. He said, we don't count our moms playing mobile games as gamers, right? And I replied to him and said, we don't, but they do because they pay money, and that's all they care about, right? Yes. So the ESA has released its annual Essentials Facts reports in a partnership with your YouGov, which conducted a survey of 5,000 total representatives in U.S. in 2023, and 4,000 of those participants are a mixture of kids, teens, and adults who spent at least 1 hour per week gaming, while remaining 1,000 were adults who either don't play games or play for less than 1 hour a week. Okay. Through the study, the ESA found that 61% of the U.S. population is actively gaming, amounting to roughly 190 million active players between the ages of 5 and 90. Now, again, this is just representing the United States. This not representing the rest of the world, just the United States, okay? It says, if you follow the Essential Facts reports year after year, you might notice that the number is actually lower than last year, when the ESA reported 65% of the Americans were playing games, but it's not necessarily true, and that the total number of gamers in the U.S. has gone down. This year's Essential Facts reports, for the first time ever, includes data from children, which individuals as young as 8, okay, completing the survey under parental supervision, and adult respondents answering questions about the household gaming on behalf of the children as young as 5. As a result, the survey has a larger and broader sample size and makes sense for fewer children that are young would be gaming regularly in comparison to their older children and adults. Both the addition of children in the survey data also brings about another interesting shift: the percentage of gamers exclusively playing on mobile. In the previous years, that number was 12%. But this year's survey has 31% of nearly 1/3 of the gamers playing exclusively on mobile. What's more, nearly is 78% of gamers play on mobile. Play on mobile at all, compared to 64% last year. Again, it's not mobile usage has shot up, though it's likely risen some, but the addition of the data from younger players has likely revealed the extension of mobile usage. Okay, so here's some numbers for you. The gender split amongst gamers remains roughly equal, men making 53% of active players and women making 46% by age group. 79% of Generation Alpha are gaming at least 1 hour a week, compared to 76% of Gen Zers, 65% of millennials, 53% of Gen Xers, 47% of boomers, and puzzle games are the most popular game genre overall, through the largely played by older players, while younger folks enjoy action, arcade, and shooter games. Amongst those are play the video games ranked in the top 3 favorite forms of entertainment, alongside listening to music and watching TV, and they're more popular than reading, hanging out with friends in person, or watching sports. Okay, so people don't want to go hang out with people. They just want to go play games. They don't care about sports, right? Generally, respondents said that playing games either relaxes them to have fun, though younger players more frequently report that player for social or competitive reasons. And finally, 80% of the people who play games said they intend to vote in 2024, which I don't know why they add that at the very end, which is just fucking stupid. But yeah, so this is 1/3 of the population of the United States is playing games on mobile devices. And now people are confused by this, Sarge, because they're like, I don't understand Microsoft, what they're doing. They're throwing stuff away. They just don't understand what they're doing. The $1 trillion company that's number 1 company in the world doesn't know what they're doing, according to the armchair warriors like us inside the thing, right?
Into the fishbowl. Into the fishbowl.
Right. We're closed-minded, and everyone's like, I don't understand how they're going to make it. They're like, we don't care about consoles. They're like, they're not going to make it if they don't have consoles. Like, we want to put it on every screen possible. They're like, they're not going to make it if they don't have consoles. They're like, there's 1.3 billion people on the planet that can play video games, right? They're like, they're not going to make it if they don't have consoles. It's like, hello? Are you listening? 1/3 of the population, right? What did my son say to you when you were staying with us? I said, how often do you play cloud gaming? What did he tell you?
Every day.
Every day. Every day.
Every day.
Right?
And he's 9.
9 years old.
So what do you think we're cultivating?
Right? And he's playing cloud gaming through his iPad, right? Because someone else is using the television set, so he goes and plays Battlefront or Minecraft through the cloud. Every single day he does this. I was surprised when he said that out loud. I was like, every day? I was like, why don't you play it on the TV? He's like, I do. But when you guys need the TV, he's like, I go play in my room. He's like, and I use the cloud on my iPad. And I was like, oh. I was like, and I asked him in front of Sarge, I go, do you have any problems with it? He goes, no. He's like, it's really good.
Not to him.
Right.
Not to him.
Right. right? So to me, every one of us that thinks that you don't want to play on this device, right? This mobile device, right? And you think that mobile gaming, fine. Right? You think that nobody wants to play mobile gaming, yet 50 million people are playing Call of Duty Mobile worldwide. Right. Okay, 50 million people. Just to put that in perspective, Mario Kart 8 on the Switch, which has sold almost 160 million, 150 million, whatever the hell it is, 140 million units. Okay, Mario Kart 8 has sold 64 or 65 million copies. Okay, and yet there's 50 million people playing Call of Duty Mobile. Right? So to tell me that nobody wants to play on mobile, you're like this, going, you're like the monkeys with hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. You're just like, I don't want to say anything. I don't believe that's true. And 100%, your children are playing games on smaller devices. If it's a tablet, if it's a laptop, if it's a mobile phone, okay, this is going to be the majority. Again, let me read these stats to you again, okay? Let me read these stats to you. The stats are saying that from generation to generation, 53% of active players are women and 46% are age group. 79% of Generation Alpha are gaming at least 1 hour a week compared to 76% of Gen Zers and 65% of millennials, 53% of Gen Xers, okay, and 47% of boomers, right? The bigger piece of the pie is Alpha, Z, and millennials that are all playing games, and they don't care. They don't care about the mobile phones and screens like this.
Because just like, how do we say this clearly enough? So just like we grew up with like handheld Coleco games and stuff like that, like that's what you grew up with.
Yeah, and arcade games.
And then from that point, it got better from there, right? Now you have people who are playing these games on mobile phones and tablets, basics, and it's going to get better from there for them, right? So we don't see it because we're like, I spent 25 years playing games. I am not playing on a 3-inch screen.
Either am I.
Right. I have learned over the years, I've been playing on small screens all my life. I got a bigger and bigger TV for reasons, because I was always on these small ass televisions. I hated it. Right. But kids who have never played games before are playing on small screens and they're used to it.
Right.
That's what it is.
When Marvel Future Revolution came out on mobile, I didn't play it on mobile. I got the emulator and played it on my PC because I refused to play it on the small screen. Right. This is what happens. We don't want to play it on the small screens. I don't want to play pixelated games, right? I don't want to play these new school that look like old school pixelated games. I'm like, no, I'm out. I played that my whole entire life. I want good graphics. I want something that's bigger and better, right? So going from this to our next story, which is we're going to bounce back and forth between Sony and Microsoft, okay? Don't get mad at me, chat. We're not shit talking these. These are just reading the news and having conversation. So the next thing, Sony says that PlayStation 5 sales have peaked after 29% decline, okay? It says that the console market is facing a strong headwind, as we head into the later half of the generation, something that affecting both Xbox and PlayStation. Just weeks after Xbox announced a 31% year-over-year decline over hardware sales, Sony has now announced almost identical 29% decline over the same period of PlayStation 5. Okay, that was 28 million sales, just missing the 21 million target, but had already then dropped from 25 previously, right? They were supposed to sell 25 million copies of the console. They then lowered it to 21, which they just missed, and they sold 20.8. Okay. Now, Sony says it's expected that the PlayStation 5 sales to continue to decline going forward, as 18 million sales are predicted for the next fiscal year. Okay, which they had 25 million for this year, and next year they only think they're going to get 18. The console has peaked, and at this point, it looks like the PlayStation 5 will not ultimately catch the PlayStation 4 in sales. Okay, it says, of course, Sony is selling more PlayStation 5s than Xbox, which is like a 3-to-1 ratio. Xbox is even at percent declines or similar, and Xbox doesn't report exact numbers. Estimates usually put things around 2-to-1 sales ratio, similar to the previous generation, and Microsoft has mostly conceded this will never going to be back at the top of the hardware race, hence the focus on other platforms. They were never really at the top of the race. They had one console that was close, and they still lost by like 3 million units, something like that. Okay, so going from this, Sarge, to another story which also is connected to this, right? Which is half of the PlayStation, I'll let you answer in just a second, half of the PlayStation players still haven't upgraded to a PlayStation 5, okay? So half of the people, there's 159 million PlayStations out there in circulation, okay? And there's 59 million actual PlayStation 5s out there, all right? It says, so the PlayStation 5 has sold just over 59 million units since the launch in 2020, since the slightly less than PlayStation 4 sales in the same time frame, and it sold roughly 60 million consoles 4 years into its life cycle. And from the sound of it, those PlayStation 5s only account for roughly half of the PlayStation's active online user base. According to Sony, PlayStation Network had 118 million active users as of March 31st of 2024. As GameFile, Stephen Tortillo points out that PlayStation 5 install base accounts for exactly half of the total, meaning that the other 59 million must still be using a PlayStation 4. It takes time for people to adopt the console hardware, right? So from that, one more, which is Microsoft, where Jez Gordon talks about Microsoft. He says, heard more than half of Xbox MAU paying customers are also on Xbox One as well, right? So from this, so now you know that both sales are down. One's 31% for hardware sales, one's 29% for hardware sales. Then you see that more than half of the people haven't switched from a PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5. Same with Xbox, right? Xbox last time sold, I think, 56 million or something like that, and they have 25 million or 26 million units out in the world for Xbox Series S and X. So same percentage wise, half of the Xbox users haven't moved over yet, and half of the PlayStation users haven't moved over yet, and we're 4 years in, right? So what do you think about this, Sarge? Do you think this is something that they should be scared of, or this is just normal as can be? Because the life cycle, I didn't get my PlayStation 4 until like 5 years into the life cycle of PlayStation 4.
Well, there's a lot to open up here. But first and foremost, the people in this room are probably the smaller percentage of gamers who play specific games for specific reasons, right? The reason why you don't have a turnover so quickly is because most people don't care, right? They bought the game system because it's the game system. The ones who are up on the tech always get the games first, always get the systems first. But the transition to a new system, the ones that don't care, they're not going to spend $500 on something. Give me the reason. Give me the reason why I need a PS5. Like, I have a PS4 right now. I'm happy. I'm playing PS4.
Right.
Give me the reason why I want 5. What is the deciding factor that I have to get the game? I have to get the system.
The only reason you would get a PlayStation 5, in my opinion, is that you want to play the first-party exclusive games, right? That's the only reason. Because if you wanted to play a third-party game, you could play it on PC, you can play it on PlayStation, you can play it on Xbox, you can play it basically wherever you choose to play it.
If we went back in time and we look at what the division of people who bought PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4, it's probably about the same thing. A large group of people buy the system when it first comes out or within the first couple years, and then the rest wait. They wait for, like Creature said, they wait for either the Pro come out, the price drop, something happens. Otherwise, they don't care. Right. Plus the fact that everybody in their own minds, when you're looking at game systems, I'm talking about myself now, over the years, like if I look at a game system and I'm interested in it, I kind of go through the list and I go, well, what games does it have currently? If I buy the system, what am I going to be playing for the next year or 6 months? Do they have 3-4 games that I like that I could play? And can I wait for the new games to come out? And if I say that to myself with a new system and I don't have a list of games that I'm actually interested in playing, and you still want that price tag, I don't need it. Right? I think that the transition from people from going from PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5 is right on time. I don't think it's something for them to worry about. I think it's exactly where it is. Now, there are other factors involved, right? The economy's in the shitter.
Sure.
Disposable income's in the shitter, which is why video game prices have gone up, because they know that bang for the buck, video games are still the best form of entertainment dollar-wise, and so they can keep raising the prices up a little higher because people in our group, not the normies, in our group will buy those games at that price.
Yeah.
You will pay $100 for a game if you like. You don't want to wait.
Right.
You say to yourself, I got to have this game at $100. I don't want to wait. Right. But the normies, the people who are just being entertained, who are waiting for deals and price drops, well, I'll get the system when it's on sale. I'll get the system when the Pro comes out. I'll get these games three years after the game comes out because the price will be lower. Like, that's normal, right? Why am I going to give you $100 for something I don't have the money for when I can play the same game 2 years from now? But everybody wants the right now factor. I got to get the best game now, the best system right now. And I'm aware. I've done it myself. But you get to a point where you realize it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Well,
like, it used to matter, because if you and your friends were playing the same games, like that's also a big factor. If you and your boys are playing the same games, then you are more likely to go out and buy day one, because it's that type of game. It's a multiplayer game. It's a PvP game. It's a PvE game. It's a competitive sports game. It's something that you and your boys are going to play. So yes, right now I'm going to buy it. But as far as single player games or these live service games, like, do you care? Does it have to be now? No, it doesn't.
I'm trying to look at the global sales, because Creature pointed out, when the Switch 2 comes out, it'll kickstart right back into high gear. I don't think so. And here's why. When new systems come out, sure, you're going to get people that buy it day one, like myself or you, right? But on this graph right here, that's the small portion. That's this right here. Okay. Now, I bought the Switch late because I couldn't get my hands on it because it was flying off the shelves. Okay, like literally.
Was it flying off the shelves?
No, it was literally flying off the shelves. You couldn't get it, but Nintendo does this on purpose. They don't shove a lot out there at the same time. There was no pandemic at that time, okay? And they just weren't selling it because people were still playing the Wii, right? So not until, I would say, this is 2017. We're talking about 2019, right before the pandemic in 2020. That's when it shot up, and then it shot up even more, and then it took a big chunk again. Right? So when Switch 2 comes out, yeah, you're going to get people to buy it, which is these people down here, right? 5 million, 7 million, 10 million people. But it's not going to take off until 3, 4, 5 years into the cycle, because that's just how you could go back to Xbox One, to Xbox 360, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, Nintendo, whatever console you want to talk about. Nothing ever goes from like, hey, I got the old system, and everyone just jumps up to the next one. Never going to happen. Okay, it's slowly happening. They're like, I'll just wait for other games to come out, right? Because a lot of people want to see what the console can do, what it's able to do, what games are coming out for it. And most games don't come out because it takes 3 to 5 years to make a game. Well, if a game comes out, they announce a new system, they get the dev kit like 18 months ahead of time. So great. When the game launches or the system launches, the first game to come out is barely playable. Let's be honest, because it's less than 3 years, and they put a small game out there just to show you what the new system is, but you still got to wait 2 years, 3 years for the actual games that they were making for the system to finally show up and show their faces, right? And that's what people start to buy the systems and go, oh, I'll buy a God of War for that, or I'll buy, the next Mario game for that. And that's the reality, right? You, me, and the people in this room, yeah, sure, you might be in this lower tier here where you buy the system right away, but everybody else doesn't buy it till year 3, year 4, year 5, and on, right?
Because video gaming to them is not the same thing as it is for us. The form of entertainment that when I say the word we, I'm talking about the smaller group now,
right?
That we grew up with. Like, I have always been a gamer. I have always had video games in my life as a form of entertainment, right? I read books, I played video games, right? I was fine. If friends weren't around, I was fine by myself. Like, I looked forward to rainy days where I didn't have to talk to anybody or be with anybody, just to be with myself to play the games I wanted to play. I was okay with that. I was, I guess you want to call it by today's standards, antisocial.
Right.
But I never called it back then. I just liked to get involved with the electronics. That's what I liked. Right. And it wasn't just like an Atari system. It was like all electronics, anything electronic. Like, I love the gadget stuff. But as a form of entertainment, people look at it as that. It's entertainment, right? Your list of things that you have to buy and do on a daily basis is buying a video game system in your cards day one because someone said the new system's coming out. No.
Right.
It's not going to happen. right? Especially if you're married with kids,
Well,
right? Right. I'll tell you the best day you have as a father, and I'm not a father, right? You do everything you can for your family. You never get a chance to do anything you want to do, but somehow your wife knows that you've been working really hard, and for some strange reason, your wife buys you the system that you've been looking for, so you can actually play something.
That's a
right?
trick. That's a trap.
Is it a trap?
That's a trap.
But it's nice. It's nice that they're thinking about
that's
you,
a
though.
trap. You don't.
Is it a trap?
Yeah, you don't let the significant other buy you the thing because they can hold that over.
Oh
you.
no.
Yeah, they can
Oh, is that
hold
what it
over.
is?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It can't be a positive thing.
No,
it has to be negative.
No, you have to buy it yourself.
You have to. So
you can't.
So you have to take one.
Yeah, you can't.
So,
you can't let them buy it
trap.
for you because then they want something in return. It's nothing just giving you the device, being nice. Now there's yeah. See, creature, 100% trap. Yeah, that's a trap. If they buy it for you, they want something 100% back in return. Not happening. Chat. Who's right?
You
Sarge, the non-married person, or me, the married person?
You have to pretend it's the wrong thing. Where are we, man? Where are we? That's a real thing?
Yeah.
Good God.
So one of the things that a lot of people give Michael Packner shit for, he said one of the things that he says a lot of stuff and a lot of things he gets wrong, but one of the things that he says is that each console cycle gets less and less, right? And you could look at a specific, like PlayStation might sell more than this PlayStation, right? And you're like, oh, you see, you're wrong. But what he's talking about, console sales in general, right? So if you take Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox, that cycle, right? Meaning this generation, you add them all together, right? And compare them to the last generation and add them all together, it's less than the last one before it. Less and less people are buying, okay, actual consoles, right? If it's because they're playing on mobile phones, if they're playing in the cloud because they have a television set they can play, if they're playing on their mobile devices, like I just said, or they're playing on console. There's a lot of other ways to play it, right? So they're not even buying consoles anymore, right? And this is why a lot of people are not switching over. I think this is done on purpose as well because they want people to move towards the cloud, okay? So going from that, right, where's the next story I want to talk about? Lots of companies are doing what Microsoft is doing, where they want to go everywhere, right? And Microsoft says in this new thing, I keep hitting my wire. Sarge, say something real fast. I got it. Okay. So Activision is opening up a new. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. Wrong one. Microsoft is pushing a no red line for what games could come to PlayStation report. Right now, obviously, a lot of people are looking at this and saying all games from Microsoft are coming over. I'm not defending anything. I don't care where games are. More games for more people and more places is better for gamers. Right. So I'm always about the gamer, never about the corporation. So they're coming over. Ubisoft, Square Enix have also announced that they're putting their games everywhere, more places, right? PlayStation has even said, we're going to put games in more places. Doesn't mean they're putting them on Xbox, but it does mean that they're putting it on PlayStation and PC, at the same time. Helldivers has proven that they're making a crap ton of money from that, right? So Microsoft is reportedly pushing that they have no red line restrictions when it comes to putting Xbox games onto PlayStation. According to Windows Central, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, the CFO, and Amy Hood are mandating increasing margins across all departments. While franchises like Minecraft, Call of Duty have always been on multiple platforms, even after Microsoft purchased their developers, now the conversation is reportedly evolving, putting even more games on rival platforms like PlayStation. Reportedly, even the internal plan within Microsoft, codenamed Latitude, which focused on moving the Xbox games onto other platforms, and there are already more Microsoft games that will also be coming over to PlayStation as well. However, it seems like there's some debate and discussion surrounding the initiative as whether or not this is a good idea. If Microsoft puts more of its games onto more platforms, what would potentially decrease the reason to have purchase an Xbox console? And my question to you, Sarge, you just asked, why should you buy a PlayStation? Why should you buy an Xbox, right? And me personally, they don't care. They don't care if you buy the box because they want you to get the software. Microsoft became a $3 trillion company because of software sales, not because of hardware sales, right? So they're just taking what they've learned the last 50 years in the business to become the number one, as of speaking right now, the number one company in planet Earth, okay, at $3 trillion, that they don't care if you buy the Xbox, right? Now, as a customer of an Xbox, right, why would you buy an Xbox? And are you mad that you bought an Xbox, or are you mad that you need to buy an Xbox or don't need to buy an Xbox the next time around?
complicated question because I grew up during a generation where you worked towards an object, you worked towards a goal, and the goal is what you own. The goal is what you have. You have the pride of saying, like, this is mine. I worked hard for this, right? So what Microsoft is telling you right now is you don't have to buy a box. You don't have to get this thing to say that you won, that I have this thing and he doesn't, right? All you have to do is have a screen currently in front of you somewhere, and you're just paying for a service. And the older guys, like our generation, can't see it past that. They can't see that it's not about the item, the object. It's about the entertainment value of the product, right? That's what they want you to think, right? You're not supposed to own it. You're just supposed to give them money and be entertained, right? And so if I told everybody that we don't care about selling product anymore, the old mentality is, well, how do they stay in business? If you're not going to sell products, you're not going to sell anything good, then why do I want to buy your thing? And they go right back to that sentence. Why do I have to buy that thing? And they go, you don't have to buy that thing, right? You don't have, you're mad because they don't have something to put on that thing. Well, they don't want you to have that thing. They just want you to be entertained. And according to a third of the country now, a third of the country is happy with not owning the thing, right?
So just playing on mobile, right?
So do you think that number is going to go down in the next 5 years?
Well, here,
I mean, I understand. It took me a while to sit down and talk myself into that train of thought that they don't care about the hardware anymore, right? They're having trouble trying to change the verbiage. So you talk about the things that they want you to talk about, but everybody keeps putting the jersey on. Everybody keeps saying it's Xbox and PlayStation, and it's not what it is. I'm not sure what the defining factor is going to be or what moment in time is going to happen, but there's going to be a switch turned, and you're not going to care about the goddamn box. It's just going to be, do you have this game?
I want to put an example out here, right? Those of you that are upset that you're not going to have an Xbox play your video game on, or just a console. Let's just be generic about this. You're not going to have a console in the future. If it's PlayStation, if it's Xbox, if it's Nintendo, right? Maybe all of them just go away with it. You're upset about that, but right now, anyone in chat, where do you listen to your music? Do you listen to music on a Walkman? Do you listen to a music on a separate device, or are you listening to it on your mobile phone, right? Where do you watch your movies? Do you have a DVD player still? Do you put DVDs physically in your? Some of you probably do, right? Or do you have a separate device that's just exclusive, which is just an app on that actual device, right? Where you're watching movies like Netflix on your television, on your mobile phone, on your Xbox, on your thing. You don't physically own a DVD player anymore, but yet you're okay with that because you're watching your movies streaming through a cloud.
That took time.
Correct. You're not upset because you don't have a Walkman anymore or a record player. You're listening to your music through another device, not a dedicated device just for Sony's music player or Xbox's music player, right? But for some reason, we're upset about games. Now, I'm upset because I like to own stuff, like Sarge said earlier. Right? I like to earn money, take my money, buy product, use that product, and buy the thing, right? I don't like the services, but some services you can't help anymore, right? Like you can't go to Target and buy a movie anymore. The section's gone, right? You can't go buy a music disc anymore. It's gone, right? You were forced because the industry standard says, and they dictate what's going to happen. And everyone thinks that Microsoft doesn't know what they're doing. But if you notice, everybody now is we're going multi-plat. Square Enix is going multi-plat. Ubisoft, mostly already multi-plat. They're going multi-plat even more. Okay. PlayStation, they're going multi-plat. Okay. They're going to push you towards this direction where you're not going to own the boxes because that's the way the industry is going to go. They're going to be like, no more boxes. Sorry. Right. And this is what I've been saying for years and years and years. They're going to have a Google Chrome type of device that you can just play the game everywhere. It's going to be a cheaper device, not really a console, but it's just a device where you can contact. So maybe you don't have a smart TV. Maybe you can't afford a $2,000 television set, but you can afford a $100 box that you plug into your HDMI port, and voila, now you have a console for $100, and you buy the controller, and you can use whatever controller you want. They don't care what controller you use, right? I can play Steam with my Xbox controller or my PlayStation controller. It doesn't really matter. They just want the income that you're paying a service. Microsoft, all these years, they stopped making you buy Windows or Microsoft 365. Now it's a subscription service, right? All these editing services that you use to edit your movies and stuff with, they stop selling you the software. They just make it a service now. You pay a monthly fee like Adobe does, right? All of these people in the industry are going towards this digital not owning stuff, right?
But it's always but I see it for what it is. It's just somebody's hand in your pocket the whole time. Right? There's somebody's hand in your pocket the whole time, right? Back in the day, it was just, whatever the payment was. It's only $20 a month. Like whatever you're doing, your lease for your car, the mortgage payment, the bills, it's just money every month. And it's only money every month, every couple weeks. But now it's money every month, every couple weeks, all the time. It's forever. It's a forever, your hand is someone's hands in your pocket, like forever. And eventually you say, well, that's just the way it is now.
Right.
And I'm like, and we slowly transition. You said about music, the same thing. Like I own a shit ton of CDs, bro. Music-wise, a shit ton of CDs. And I had a shit ton of DVDs too. But yeah, I stopped buying them, right? Because they basically kept giving me the solution. If I wanted to watch something, I just type it in and I press the button and it comes up.
Convenience.
Right? So if they keep showing to me that whatever music I wanted or whatever movie I wanted is 6 buttons away, then why do I have to buy it? So now they say they don't have to ship a DVD. They don't have to ship the CD. They don't have to pay for the box art. They don't have to, nothing. They're still selling it to you for the same price, but there's no product.
Right.
So who's making more money? Who's making more money?
Yep.
If there's no product on the shelf, but I'm still paying the same amount of money, who's getting that money? All the middlemen are gone. It goes directly to them. This is why I laugh when these game companies say, well, we didn't make enough money. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Real quick, Dave Rose says that I watch my Blu-rays on my PlayStation 5, which is fine, Rose. But when the PlayStation 6 comes out and they don't put a disc drive in it.
Yeah. And it doesn't come with it.
Right.
It just doesn't come
and
with it.
They just choose not to sell you a disc drive.
And
right?
even worse, your PlayStation 6 doesn't come with a disc drive, and it doesn't have a USB port for an external drive. It just doesn't have no ports.
My point is, sure, you can still have your PlayStation 5, right? And you can hold on to that as long as you can to watch your thing. But I'm saying if the industry wants to change it, they just change it. They say no more disc drive, right? We don't want people, right? We don't want GameStop to buy secondhand games. They just get rid of disc drives, and now you inside the ecosystem 100%. Even more so, if you buy all your games digitally on the PlayStation 5, now backwards compatibility on the PlayStation 6, everything that you bought over here now comes over here, and that's one more step that you don't have to buy or they have to put a disc drive in. But they'll charge you the exact same price for that. And I'm not saying this is a Sony thing. I'm just saying, for your example, you're using your PlayStation 5 with a Blu-ray until there's no Blu-ray, right? That's what the industry decides if they want to add it or not, because they control the market.
Yeah. But that's what it is now.
Yeah, a lot of computers don't even have them, right? Or newer. Yeah. I don't have a disk drive in my computer.
I had to buy an external one.
Yeah.
Right? I had to buy an external one because the PC that I built doesn't have a drive. Doesn't come with one.
Creature says, oh, it's an everyone thing, including Sony. That's where they're headed. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. My whole point about this is if they don't want to let you play physical games, it's really easy to opt you out of it, right? You have no choice. They just say, sorry, PlayStation 6 and Xbox, whatever, don't have a disc drive anymore. You can only buy digital. That's it. Done.
Right.
And you're like, all right, well, if I want to play games, that's what I have to do. Or you then go, well, you know what? They got rid of the disc drive. I don't feel like playing that anymore. I'm going to buy a PC. And then you buy a PC and you buy an external hard drive. Someone wins. Somebody puts it out there, but you're still stuck in what the industry standard what they want you to do. So we'll go from that to the next one. Let me find the next story, which is last week. Right, I'll wait till Sarge gets back. Last week, we talked about the closing studios. Right, they closed 4 studios. They moved 1 studio over, Microsoft, and this week, right, obviously it's not Microsoft, it's Activision, but Activision is opening up a brand new studio with veterans from CD Projekt Red, Naughty Dog, and Bungie. Okay, Elsewhere Entertainment is a newly formed studio looking to develop a narrative-based, genre-defining AAA franchise. Better yet, the studio will also have nothing to do with Call of Duty, so it will have actually to see something interesting from Activision outside of the Blizzard titles. Elsewhere, Entertainment is based in Warsaw, Poland, and naturally, that does mean that some of the notable talent behind the games like Witcher 3, Cyberpunk 2077 is now working at the studio, and some former Naughty Dog, Ubisoft, and Bungie employees will also be part of Elsewhere team, which is developing its first major project of the team and expert storytellers, right? So obviously, Sarge, it makes no sense, right? Now, obviously, one doesn't have to do with anything else with the other, right? Tango Games, everyone.
A little bit.
Well, yeah, a little bit, but everyone's upset because Tango Games went out and ever since it was successful. Dupless was talking about it in Discord. I didn't know if he replied back to me yet, but he said that he doesn't understand. Like, the company closed down one of their most successful studios, and I said, what's success? Like, we don't know because we don't know what the budget is, and even if we know what the budget is, we don't know what the sales numbers are. And corporations and people that run these corporations don't care if Sarah and Todd had a good time making the game and they think that their game is the best game they've ever created. Personal goals aside, they don't give a shit, okay? They might have made the best game that they actually did. Maybe they made a game and they sold the game and they're happy with that game. But corporate has no feelings, has no emotions. It's dead inside. It just does what it does, and they make the choices that they want to make. And they say, did this game make money for us? And the answer is probably no. And then they look at it and assess it and go, well, if we add more money to this, it takes 3 to 5 years to make a video game. If we toss them $50 million or $100 million, are we going to get a return on investment with that, with the studio that wants to make their next artsy game or whatever it is? And they're like, nah, just cut our losses and move along, right? Ubisoft, Square Enix, they all get rid of people all the time, right? The stock just dropped. I think it was for Ubisoft today, was it not? Or was it Square Enix? I forget, chat.
Square Enix.
It was Square Enix, right?
Yep.
So what makes success, right? So when one studio closes, and then all of a sudden a week later, you hear Activision's opening up a brand new studio. Well, yes, they're underneath the umbrella of Microsoft, right? But Activision itself is looking to expand away from Call of Duty, right? Because Call of Duty is the only thing that they have going for them. I mean, obviously they have World of Warcraft, they have a lot of other games out there, but they're looking to open up another studio and try something different, which it looks like narrative type of stuff. So what do you make of this, Sarge, where Microsoft, the umbrella company, gets rid of 3 studios, merges 1, gets rid of 3, and then all of a sudden now they okayed Activision opening up a new studio just a week later?
There's a lot to discuss once again. So here we go. So what you have to remember is when I look at the firings, it's not just the firings of the company. There's a lot of contract workers, subcontractors. I mean, there's a list of people. So when they say they fire all these studios, some of those guys are just the contract guys that their contract's up and the game's over and they move on to the next thing. Like, they just move on.
Right. Or they were waiting around doing nothing, right?
So if you're talking about core people who are always there and those people got fired, then yes, we should be concerned a little bit. But once again, it's a business. It's not personal. So if I can fire everybody and then rehire a new group of people and hire them for less, then that's what they're going to do. Because once again, you like to use the facial tissue analogy where, you know, we don't have this guy anymore, but somebody else wants a job, right? There's always somebody there to pick up that wants a job. There's another guy there, right? Now, is it shitty? Yes. Do you lose the cohesiveness of the really good teams that made a game special? Yeah. Right? Is it psychologically damaging to people who have to keep looking for a new job every so often because once a contract or the game is done, you don't know if you're going to be there for? Yeah, of course it is. But you bring up the point again where you know the job that you were going to get when you got it, right? You're not getting hired to work for Activision for the rest of your life. It's not like getting hired for Southern Bell or Ma Bell Phone Company and you get your 20 years, you get your pension and you move on. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? Now, does it look shitty that you let go of 3 or 4 studios and then immediately a week later you open up a new studio?
Yes.
Do the optics look bad? Yeah. But what that means is I start from scratch. We negotiate new pay for the new jobs that are coming in and we see what we can do. What's the budget? And we do a project manager from that point on.
Right.
Yeah, it's shitty. Absolutely shitty. But at the same time, we have, and I say we, and I mean the consumer.
Right.
We have created a atmosphere where we don't allow independent developers to have room to breathe because either we don't support them or they don't fit into the bubble that we want them to be in. Right. So in order for an independent guy to actually finish his game or get it out there, he's got to all of a sudden, he's got to reluctantly say, yep, we got to make a deal with the so-and-so publisher. We got to make a deal with the so-and-so this. And somebody comes along and sees like, oh, these guys are doing a pretty good job. Why don't we go in and help them? Why don't we go in and help them and give them the money they need so they can finish the project that they love to do, right? So once they're in bed with the big corporation just treats them like any other piece of the machine.
Right.
Yeah, you guys did a great job. Oh, you've been working in the game for 8 years? Well, that's fantastic. Why don't we help you out?
Right.
Right? And they go, yeah, that we need help because nobody else is going to fund it. But now on the other side of the coin, all businesses, and I mean this as nice as possible, all businesses have bloat, right?
Sure.
They're bloated, right? You have too many people doing the same job. You have too many people that take too long to do a job. And so in my eyes, I like to see the independent guys succeed because that shows to me
small studios, yeah.
That shows to me not only do they understand the budget, but they have project managers that are working for them that understand their team and understand what needs to be done. Is it always 100% effective? No. But you've seen in the past, from what we've seen growing up watching video games, what teams did well over the years and which ones did not. My concern is that there's no more independent money coming from, I guess, angel investors or people that care about video games. It's all about these corporations that are swooping in, trying to save the day for all these new up and coming devs because they know they need money. Right. And let's not pretend that the industry has a whole lot more wiggle room because of the live services and because of the MTX land, right? Everybody who's funding Madden and FIFA, everybody who's funding that allows EA to do whatever they want.
Correct.
And fail miserably with no repercussions.
Same with services like PlayStation Plus and Game Pass.
Now you could say it's good or you could say it's bad, but in the normal market cycle, the cream rises to the top. If you have a good studio, you have a good game, they're trying hard, they read the market, they release their game, maybe they didn't do really well, but they did decent, and it gives them the money to go on to the next thing. Right? You can't just walk into a room, pull down your pants, right? Try to offend everybody, and then just walk away scot-free, right? That's not what happens. You get ridiculed, you get shamed, they say, this guy's a nut job, we're not going to work with him, right? Now, with all the money that they get monthly for doing nothing, we exist.
Right. Just having service.
Right. These game companies can try, and I mean this, try whatever. Let's try this live service. Let's try this live service. Let's try this type of game.
Right. It takes less time to develop.
It's good. It's good in the sense that it gives them the freedom to do it. But let's look at the other end of it. The other end of it is, well, we can do whatever we want, and we can keep doing it.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not going to go out of business. Right, I got FIFA and Madden. EA's not going to go out of business.
Right, and they have their go-to titles that they can go to with the IPs and stuff they have. Real quick, I want to answer a question. Assume says that's not firing though if their contract is up. No,
that's right.
Well, I want to push back on that. I've been on jobs where I have a contract and my contract says 3 seasons. Okay, but then something happens where season 1 didn't get as many views or sponsorships and it didn't make money, and then they cancel season 2 and 3. Even though I'm under contract, I get fired. And there's no thing where it says, oh, well, they have to fulfill my contract. No, they go, sorry, we signed you for 3 because they want to make sure you're not working for anybody else. Okay. But if they do happen to fire you, then you're shit out of luck. Okay. And that happens all the time, especially in the contract work, in the film industry, in the music industry, in the video game industry. So it's not about their their contract is up, that's not being fired. You're absolutely correct on that. If your contract's over, you're not fired because you fulfilled your contract. But that's my point with some of these firings. They keep showing all these firings, and I'm like, okay, but who are the real firings and who are the guys that the contract's up? Correct. Most companies, again, it's a case by case scenario. There's full timers, and we know Microsoft does an 18-month cycle where they hire people for 18 months to get rid of them, and this is why a lot of their games don't gel a lot, because new people come in every 18 months. It takes 3 to 5 years to make a game, and every year and a half you're firing someone and bringing someone else in to finish the rest of the game that someone else was already working on, right? So there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes of this. I think that if the firings where was I going with this? If the firings happen and their contract's over, that's not a firing. You're absolutely correct with that, I assume. But if their contract's not over and they still had time, there might be 10 people working for the studio that are full-timers. Everybody else is under contract work, but it's under contract of the game being finished or done. And then once it's done, they go, sorry, we let you go. In the public perception, is that we're firing. Now, I'm not saying that's what happened to Tango Games and Arcane and anything like that.
It's possible. We don't know everything.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's what happened. All I'm saying is from the public perspective, when someone stops working on a job, you're like, they got fired, right? But we don't know the behind the scenes of what success is, what's not success, who had what contract, if they were independent, if they were contract workers, if they were full-time employees. We know none of that, and you'll never know any of that unless you were an insider that actually knows what's going on. I think they closed Tango because they wanted to move somewhere else. There was a story that I saw that said that Tango was just sitting around. They weren't doing anything. They were done with Hi-Fi Rush. They didn't know what their next thing was. They were pitching ideas. And when the time came around, they were just like, what are these guys doing? They're like, well, they're in between games. They're like, well, I'll fucking let them go. Right? Like that's what I feel like happened.
Completely plausible.
Right. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying that possibly what happened.
Well, but that's the other side of the coin if you're under the umbrella of this company, right? It's like the teacher going around classrooms and seeing what's going on in this classroom. What are you guys doing in here? Oh, we're working on a science project. Oh yeah, what is it? Oh, okay, keep up the good work. Then you go to the next room over and they go, what are you working on? We're working on a theory about comic books and how they relate to the movie industry. Like, yeah, so what do you got for me? Superman is bad and he wants to kill a bunch of people. Like, it sounds
awesome.
Good. But you got anything to show me? You got anything to show me? No? Then you're done. Yeah. Like, if you have to be moving to the next thing. If you're the sole proprietor of your development team, you're making a game. As soon as the game is done, you either have to be making the sequel or be bouncing off and going on to the next thing, because the money you make is the money you have to make on to the next game. You have to keep moving on.
Right.
If you're under a corporation umbrella, you did your job, and now you sit back in the chair. You go, oh, all right, we did that game for them, right? And then we're gonna sit around for 6 months and try to figure out either what we want to do or what they want us to do. What happens first?
Yeah, that happens, Dave. Like in the film industry, that 100% happens where people get signed to a deal, and they'll sign up to like a 2-picture, 3-picture deal, whatever it is, and then the first movie just bombs. They still have the option, right? That what they'll do is they'll have an option of like, we'll sign you to 1 or 2 with an option of a 3rd, right? So you're under contract, and if it hits a certain points, then it continues on, and then they renegotiate or whatnot. So that happens all the time.
I mean, why don't we just mark the calendar? Why don't you just guys mark the calendar, April, May? Why don't we mark the calendar for when everybody got fired? And so when we get to April, May next year, we don't go through the same conversations again, because it's the same. It's the same after the quarterly's over, after the annual's over, after the semi-annual's over, and the end of the fiscal year is over. They do the same thing. If we're not going to show revenue and profits across these studios, we let them go, so they're off the books. So when we present profits for the shareholders, it's in a better light, right? You guys want the game companies that are not publicly traded. You want guys who are living on the edge, going for passion, trying to make a game. Those are the guys you should support. But if you're publicly traded and you're voting for those companies to make a game, believe you me, whatever game you like or don't like, it doesn't matter how much you love that game. If the number wasn't hit according to their books,
right,
they're just done. At the end of the year, they're done.
I see it, Creature. I'm gonna show it right now. Creature just sent me this. It's the 2024 essential facts about the U.S. video game industry. What I like about this one right here down below, I mean, this says it for everything. A game for everyone. From action sports games to role-playing games, there's a video game for everyone. Okay, it says platform played amongst U.S. households. Look at this. 67% mobile, 53% PC, 36% console, and 12% virtual reality.
So where are you? Where's our fishbowl chat? Where are you guys? Where are you guys? I know where I am. So where are you?
Right. Percent amongst total players ages 8 plus. Right. So 80% Gen Alpha, Gen Zers, 77% mobile. Okay. Millennials, 78% mobile. Gen Zers, 81% mobile. Okay, Gen Alpha, Gen Zs are the biggest users of PC, 54%, and console, 58% for gaming play. Right. Alpha and Z, 58%. Okay. This is pretty interesting. So U.S. households have also played at least one game device in the last 12 months. 78% of players reported playing on mobile versus 33% in 2012. And 19% of players play on mobile and PC and console. 19%. 19% of players play on mobile, PC, and console. 78% households have played at least one game device in the last 12 months. One game device, meaning console, PC, mobile, headset,
It's got a
whatever.
screen.
Right. Have played games online, 88%. Play others, but both online and in person, 74%. Play with others weekly, 55%. And agree that playing games can introduce people to new friends, 55%. Games help forge family bonds. 83% of parents who play say they play video games with their kids. I'm in that category. Play with their kids at least weekly. I'm part of that as well. And age ratings assigned in 2023, parents are the driving seat. Ages that content ratings of video games help parents make informed decisions about which products are appropriate for their family. 13% mature, 23% teen, 17% everyone, 40%, everyone 10 plus, 47% for everyone ESARB, 4,088 ratings assigned in 2023. So there you go. There's some cool numbers here. The business of games. The video game industry plays an important role for entertainment choices with games, offering plenty of bang for their buck. 63% of players say video games offer the best value for their money. I'm one of them. To this day, even when games are $100, bang for the buck is still the best piece of entertainment. Yeah, still best piece of entertainment.
Still the best.
54% read or watch player/user reviews when considering a new game. And 57.2 billion total customers spending on video games in 2023. Top grossing console and PC full game is Hogwarts Legacy, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3, Madden NFL 24, Marvel Spider-Man 2, and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And top grossing mobile games is Monopoly Go, Candy Crush Saga, Roblox, Royal Match, and Coin Master, which is a great segue into the next thing because Microsoft's new Xbox mobile gaming store is launching in July. Okay, so they've announced that they're doing a mobile, and this is what I said in the very beginning when everyone said that they're getting Activision Blizzard for Call of Duty. I said, it's not Call of Duty, it's for the mobile. Everyone's like, I don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. And then everyone else came aboard and said, it's for their mobile. It's for their mobile, right? So now Microsoft, a new Xbox mobile gaming store is launching in July. Xbox mobile store will be available on the web first with Microsoft first-party games. Microsoft has been talking about plans for their Xbox mobile gaming store for a couple of years now, and the company now plans to launch it in July, speaking to Bloomberg Technologies Summit earlier today, which was earlier this week, May 9th, or last week. President Sarah Bond revealed that launch date is now how Microsoft is going to avoid Apple's restrict Apple Store rules. It says, quote, we're going to start by bringing our first-party portfolio to Xbox mobile store, so you'll also be going to see games like Candy Crush show up on the experience, games like Minecraft, says Bond, where you're going to start on the web, and we're doing this because in reality it allows us to have the experience that is accessible across all devices. And that's the big key word there, across all devices, right? Doesn't matter if it has a web browser, you can play the games. All countries, no matter what, or independent politics of closed ecosystem stores. Now, let me put this in perspective. PlayStation Network is not, you can't make one in 177, 180 countries, right? You saw what happened with Helldivers and now Ghost of Tsushima. Okay, you can't make it. They're saying right here, we're putting it on the browser. So if you have a browser, you can buy our games and play our games on any devices. There's no restrictions. That is what Microsoft is going for. This is how it's possible for them to make in the future, the 100 million subscribers for Game Pass, or the 200 million as Packner said, right? This is where they're going. Get it? into as many possible eyes and hands as possible on any device possible. Okay, and this is how they make the money from it. Now, I don't know if it comes from Game Pass, but it comes from whatever. If it's the store. Now, someone's going to come in the chat and say, well, Microsoft's store sucks anyway. Again, you're a small percentage of the rest of the world, and they don't need 99% of the people to get into their store. They just need like 7-10% of people to spend a certain amount of money, right? And that's just an additional amount of money that just comes to them every single month for what they do. So what do you think about this, Sarge, for the mobile aspect and how they get around it? Because they're not making an app. They're not actually making a store. They're just go through the browser, get around the Apple Store thing, get away from the government stuff where you can just go to the browser and you can download and buy mobile games from their store.
Well, I would assume that Sony's probably figuring out a way to be able to get into those countries by some other means as opposed to getting a PlayStation Network through maybe another browser thing that maybe Sony will make, because otherwise you're missing out on market share that you want to have.
Right.
Now, as far as Microsoft goes, I mean, we're beating a dead horse at this point. We're not trying to sell an object. We're trying to sell a service. And right. I believe there was some studies out even a couple of years ago saying that somebody who's on a service for X number of hours will purchase a certain amount, like a dollar amount or whatever it was. And like, it just basically on average. So if a person is inside the service for X number of hours, they could, for lack of a better term, harvest revenue from them, like $5, $10. So they just take the number of people who are involved in the service and how many hours they play, and they come up with like a little average number per person, right? That's what it is. It's just revenue stream from the service, right? I have you inside my ecosystem. It doesn't matter that if you're not playing mobile or console, you're still in the ecosystem. You might be scrolling through some things. Maybe you buy some mobile, maybe you buy an MTX, maybe you get something here, but it's all still revenue to them. It doesn't matter, right? And we've seen it before, and now it's becoming more apparent that mobile games are pretty much what they're counting on. Yes, console is still important because we're still yelling about it inside of our fishbowl.
Right.
Yeah. The box battle is still on because the people in the fishbowl want there to be a box battle.
Right.
But there's no battle in reality. The reality is, how do I get those people on my screen? How do I get people to sign up for our system? What items do I have to put on our system to create enough value for someone to say it's worth having for 3 months or 4 months to try it?
Quick,
if you're looking for entertainment, I mean, if you know nothing about consoles, you know nothing about video games, and someone said, here's your screen that you have, your phone. If you sign up for this game system or this game service, you can have 300 games. You can play whatever you want. How much is it? Oh, $10 a month or $12 a month? Yeah, I'll try it. I'll try it.
We forget there's another company out there that has a gaming service called Amazon Luna, right? Like that's a cloud gaming thing as well.
Sure.
Geezy says, will they affect the performance of the games going on browser games? It's mobile games. It's mobile games. So no, I would say probably not, considering I can literally play like any Nintendo game through an emulator through the browser, right? Like the old school stuff. The mobile phone games are not very like high stress type of stuff, and they can go through the mobile.
No, but they look very good now.
Sure.
You know, games like Shadow Legends, and those gacha games, they look really good now.
I'm gonna try to go through a couple of stories real fast just to give information.
We've come a long way since Farmville, bro.
Oh yeah. So one of the stories that we didn't get to, but we're just gonna let people know, this is pretty cool. This is Microsoft announces a Protus controller, a gamepad for Xbox gamers with disabilities. Right. So on Wednesday, Microsoft announced a Protus controller at $299 module game controller kit that lets Xbox gamers with disabilities custom their controllers. Created by the peripheral company BioWave as part of the Design for Xbox program, the wireless controller consists of small cubes that are interchangeable faceplates that also include controller bonuses and directional pad and analog sticks. The snap-and-play parts connect together so gamers can build 100 configurations and LED lighting variations as a result of one of the handed gamers and other players with disabilities can also use a controller in any way that's most comfortable for them. The buttons are also remappable and more individual experience. Okay, so this is pretty cool. So you can see in the beginning photo up here, it's like in a sort of like a handle type of thing, okay, and the way they have the buttons there. Then you can see they made it into a four box type of stuff, right? So they you can change it in any kind of format that you want. You can customize the sides. I look at this as obviously you can customize this. That's a lot of extra microtransactions you can buy to decorate your controllers and make it look really cool and whatnot. It says the controller will work with the Xbox Series X, S, Xbox One, Windows 10, and 11. BioWave says it won't support PlayStation 5 or Nintendo Switch, though it's open to partnering with these platforms. So the controller is expected to ship this fall, though it's available to pre-order. BioWave's website discounted price of $255 right now. The kit will include a USB-C charging cable, a Bluetooth dongle, as well as the other parts as left and right handles to create traditional gamepad or two large one-button peripherals. So along with the introduction of the new controller, Microsoft is also updating its $99 Xbox adaptive controllers, which also released in 2018, which is that flat one that they had where with disability people can use as well. So this is pretty cool what they did with this. Lego and PlayStation are working on a new game called Lego Horizon Adventures, supposedly. So we might see that in the update coming down the road. Let's see. Ubisoft cancels The Division Heartland. So this game's been in the works for like 3 years, 4 years, and all of a sudden they just cut it. So that won't be coming. Even though Division said they're making multiple games, this is one game is a chopping block, which is mobile, right? Which is a mobile stuff. So they're focusing more on X-Defiant and Rainbow Six. So there's that. The U.S. government says there's no legal requirement for games to remain playable. It says Stop Killing Game campaign is seeking changes for the UK law regarding older titles. And it says that consumers should be aware that there is no requirement in the UK law compelling software companies to providers support older versions of their operating system software or connected products. There may be occasions where the companies make commercial decisions based on high running costs or maintaining older servers for video games that have declined user bases. The DCMS did state, however, that the companies operating in the UK are still beholden to customer law. If consumers are led to believe that the game will remain playable indefinitely for certain systems, despite the end of the physical support, the Consumer Protection from Unfair Trading regulations in 2008 may require the game to remain technically feasible, for example, available offline to play under other circumstances. So, obviously, in the UK, this is one of those laws. When a couple weeks ago we were talking about the guy for the Crew, he was trying to get it going. They basically just chucked that out the window. They're like, yeah, no, I personally think that if they're not going to support the game anymore, throw it out in the open market, right? Like you're not making money off of it anymore. You're not doing anything with it anymore. So just throw it out in the open market. Let people that know what they're doing take a hold of it. If they want to continue it, let them continue.
Yeah, but you're making it sound like that it's an impossibility to keep the game going. There's no reason why a game can't be on your hard drive and you can just run the game. That you need an online or a server to run it sounds fishy to me to begin with. I think they say that so it creates like this bottleneck, like, well, we can't do it because it has to run on a server. We all know that no game has to run on a server, right? All the server is the platform in which you access the game. So I can't have my own hard drive access the game. You can't make my computer the server. Like I don't understand the how they explain it to you on how these games that go on forever. All of a sudden, oh, well, if we don't have the server, you're out. How was the game playable before? Right.
Let's see.
I never believed that. I never believed that for a second.
One of the other things that I've been saying for quite a bit, multiverses, when they came out a year and a half ago, it's been out for almost offline for a year now. It's coming back at the end of this month. Multiverses developer has created a PvE, and I said this in the very beginning when the game came out. I said, I hope they put a story mode / PvE type of game mode in this. More characters. I said the exact same thing for Marvel's Rivals that just came out. I said Multiverses should have as many characters as possible when it comes out, because it just makes sense. You know, if it has 30 characters, make it double that. Put a PvE mode. So they do have a PvE mode coming. It's called Multiverses Developer Series PvE Rifts mode. Okay. It says, what is Multiverse Rift mode? Rift mode is a way for all players to play Multiverse and progress their skills outside of the competitive PvP modes. Each Rift will have a sequence of battles, challenges around particular theme, whether it's the Joker inflating a Batcave or Batman and Velma teaming up to decide who's the best detective. These themes will all be organized around seasonal attunements, such as Chaos or Clown Prince or Crime, or joining our cast in Season 1. The same way for every multiverse battle is bubbling with character interactions, we wanted to make the Rifts unique multiverses every season. So when they first dived into the Rifts mode, you'll learn the basic systems and mechanics within the special tutorial Rift. So there's different games and different things that are happening within their PvE mode. They show a video of it. So that comes out May 28th. It's coming back out. So there is a PvP mode. There is a PvP mode against NPCs. And then there's also a PvE mode that you can just play so you don't have to be competitive with this. I think this is a smart move because a lot of people...
Let's hope.
Well, no, it is. Because a lot
hope.
of people that don't want to play PvP, but they're still interested. Because if you just make it PvP, you literally cut off more than half of the player base that has no interest, that could pay for a microtransaction for a cosmetic skin if it's just PvP because they don't want to be competitive. Look at what Fortnite did. Fortnite was PvP all day, right? But now they've opened it up to PvE. Now they've opened it up where you play PvP, but there's other activities to do within the match itself. So you don't even have to play the Battle Royale anymore. You're just running around doing your own like single player fetch quests and whatnot during the actual...
They've adapted. Absolutely.
Correct. And this is what makes sense for WB, right? I talked about this in the past about WB making live service games, and Hogwarts Legacy I think is going to turn into some sort of live service game down the road. This is a live service game where they can constantly update characters, put more cosmetics in, keep it fresh, keep it new, put more game modes in. So this is a smart move, in my opinion, based on what the multiverse is doing for there. Another cool thing, Helldivers 2. Can't sound that music, right? Helldivers 2 has a mod out, okay? The modders made this, and people are playing it, okay? Where you're playing Star Wars. You're playing the clone troopers inside Helldivers, and I'm telling you, this game, this is from, I believe, let me see whose channel I got this from. This is from Toasty. Yeah, Toasted Shoes, okay? Toasted Shoes. He played with his friends, so you're the different clone troopers, Cody, and whatnot, and you're playing through, and they put the mod in there where you're actually going up against the Separatists. Okay, so when you're down there, the automatons are now the Separatists. Look, this is cool. I know this is not what it is, but I said when Helldivers came out, I said, dude, if you put the Star Wars in this, I was like, this would be badass, right? So they have the Star Destroyers or the Imperial Destroyers. You drop down on the planet, and then you start playing the game, and you're the clone troopers. This EA right now, or LucasArts right now, if you're not working on a game like this, Bad Batch or the Clone Troopers, and Microsoft, if you're not working on a Halo ODST game right now, like Helldivers, you're a bunch of idiots, okay? Because this is exactly what people would love to do. A horde mode, drop in, drop out, PvE, just slaughter a bunch of things. This is awesome. This is awesome. This really gets me excited. I haven't played Helldivers in a while, about a month. Okay, and I really kind of want to go back in by downloading this mod and playing with the clone troopers because, and obviously I won't stream it because you can't really stream it, but I'll put videos together. But this looks like a blast, right? I mean, come on. We were playing Battlefield last night, Battlefront 2. That game's a blast, man. Now if I could do that inside Helldivers where it's just literally like a war, like it's like Vietnam, like you're in there with the clone troopers, right? You make Fallujah, you get in there. Oh, it would be so cool. This is what I love.
It's just a fun shooter.
Yeah,
that's what it's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a fun shooter.
Yeah, this is fantastic. Maybe someone will do a GI Joe mod. That'd be awesome, Reese. Right? Transformers, GI Joe mod, whatever. Thomas the Tank. I don't care. Right? Argus said someone was doing that the other day. They did like Thomas the Tank and someone else, and they're running around. This is what I look. I don't think mods fix the game. But I do think mods...
No, but they keep it interesting.
They keep it fresh and fun, and it's just awesome.
If I'm staring at the same thing for hours on end, there better be something in the game that makes me want to stare at it. You know what I mean? Like, after a while, it gets stale. If I'm looking at the same thing for too long, it gets stale, right? Yeah. That's why you have cosmetics originally to begin with inside games, because you make your guy look different, so you're not looking at the same guy all the time, right? That's the whole idea.
All right. The last thing I want to talk about, Sarge, is that 3 weeks ago we talked about robot dogs with flamethrowers on it, and like AI tanks and AI planes and AI race cars. Okay.
Yep.
And I always say exponentially faster things are happening, right? Exponentially faster. So the last story I want to talk about, we talked about earlier this week. ChatGPT came up with their new ChatGPT 4.0. Okay. I'm just going to show you one video here. Just one. Okay. I showed this earlier this week. We'll play this. What I'm blown away by is just 8 months ago, ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT every single day of my life for the last 8 months. It helps me with my YouTube videos. It helps me with my titles. It helps me with my descriptions. It's just faster. It saves me a shit ton of time to do stuff. Okay. Now they've gone crazy. They've make it sentient. Okay. Where now it's literally talking to you and having conversations with you. Now, this video, you were in chat when we were showing it. You said you don't believe it. It could be scripted. And I'll even go, maybe it is scripted. Okay. But at some point, it's going to come out, and me and you, it's going to be in our hands, and it's going to talk to us like this, just like Siri does, just like Alexa does. But the difference between Siri and Alexa and what this is doing now is there's this pause and this awkward pause, and like this is a fluent conversation with AI. I'm not going to show the one where AI talks to AI, okay? But it's insane, right? So let me play this.
Hey, how's it going?
I don't know if it's loud enough or
Hey
not.
there. It's going great. How about you? I see you're rocking an open AI hoodie. Nice choice. What's up with that ceiling about? Are you in a cool industry style office or something?
Well, can you take a guess at what I might be doing based on what I'm showing you here?
From what I can see, it looks like you're
If I
in
get
some
to mess
kind of
around with it,
recording or
that's
production
fine.
setup.
If I get to mess around with it, it's fine. But what I'm watching here that you showed me, 100% can be scripted.
Sure. And when I said that, I'm saying even if it is scripted, at some point this is going to be on your phone, and it won't be scripted at that point, right? You'll be just using it.
I'll use it
With
to
those
see if it's
lights?
doing what they're doing. That's fine. But the questions they ask and the things that they're doing makes everyone get all hyped up about it. But a lot of it, for what's set up, is scripted.
Well, I don't think I'm not hyped up about it. I'm more of a
They want you to be hyped up, not you hyped up.
No,
They
I
want
get
you
it.
to be hyped up by it.
What I'm surprised about is, listen, obviously, because I told you it's an AI voice, you hear the AI voice, but sort of like when if you put cologne on, right, and you smell the cologne, but once you get used to cologne, you really can't smell the cologne anymore, but other people can, and a lot of people cake the cologne on, and they're like, that's a lot of cologne, right? Because you're used to it, so you don't smell it anymore. Same with
You're
this.
not supposed to smell cologne.
No, I understand that. But my analogy is, when you're listening to this, you know it's AI until you don't notice it anymore because you get used to it,
You're
right?
comfortable.
Correct, right? You get conditioned to it, and so listen to the inflection in her voice as she talks to you, like Duplass is saying, a sex hotline. Like, her voice is going up, and I say her. It's just it's a robot, but it sounds like a girl, so I say her, right? She, her, whatever.
Tripods and possibly a mic.
Everyone's going to have
Like
their own sex line in their house now with ChatGPT. That's the first thing that the guys are going to do with this thing.
Yeah. So here, listen up. It's on the same microphone as you, so hold on one second, Sarge.
Bunch
might
of
be
savages
gearing up
that
to
we are.
shoot a video, or maybe even a live stream.
Yeah.
Who wants to pay $4.99
In fact,
a
we've
minute?
got a new announcement
got my
to
own
make.
ChatGPT guy now.
That's exciting. Announcements are always a big deal. Judging by the setup, it looks like it's going to be quite the professional production. Is this announcement related to OpenAI, perhaps?
It is.
I'm intrigued.
And in fact, what if I were to say that you're related to the announcement, or that you are the announcement?
Me? The announcement is about me? Well, color me intrigued.
The inflection on the words is what gets it for me.
Right. And that,
You don't know. It would have to be programmed to know that you're asking a question and to use an upward inflection.
sure, it's fed the information that if you're smiling, it knows that you're smiling because it's fed 1,000 pictures, 1,000,000 pictures of what a smile looks like, or a frown, or you being sad, right? So it knows that when it says like, "Oh, really?" it's going to inflect its voice because they programmed it that way. But then it starts to learn and know based on the feedback. So the more people that use it, the faster it learns, and the faster it learns, the faster it doesn't need us anymore, right? Like this is Matthew Broderick. Not, is it Matthew Broderick? Yeah, War Games. Remember War Games, right? We had to play chess.
So this is like AI.
But what I'm saying is, it's going to become so smart. Okay, I was watching interview, and one of the I think Salty sent it to me, and I watched an interview where the guy talks about it as the smartest person in the world is like 210 IQ, right? But back in the day, Albert Einstein was like 160 IQ, and the normal person was like 110. And the people with 110 IQs couldn't understand what Albert Einstein was doing because they just didn't get it, right? And they thought he was a whack job or whatnot. He says that the AI, okay, right now is 1600 IQ, okay, which is 10 times more powerful than Albert Einstein. So even if the smartest people on the planet wouldn't comprehend what the robot or the AI can actually do because it's 10 times smarter than any of us, right? And he actually said, it's over. We passed the point. And he takes an example of, we know what a black hole is, right? But we know up to the black hole, but we don't know what's in the black hole, right? That's it for us. We don't know what's there. We've passed the precipice. Is that what I think it is? Where we don't know what's going to happen now because now they've made the AI so good, okay? And just 8 months ago, it was like nothing. And now it's this. And now what we're listening to, this is now the worst that it will sound. And this is the worst that it will be, because now 6 months or 8 months will turn into 4 months. Then 4 months will turn into 4 weeks. And 4 weeks will turn into 2 days. You know what I'm saying? And it'll just get better and exponentially better. And it's crazy. I love technology. But I say this saying that everyone doesn't understand because we don't know what it is because we're at that moment, right? And we don't know what gaming's going to be or where it's going to go.
You're not smart enough to see it.
Correct, right? So we all sit there and go, I don't know what it is because I don't see it, so I don't believe it, right? That's what cloud gaming is. That's what AI is. That's what rockets are landing themselves, right? Elon has decided or figured out with a bunch of smart people to launch a rocket and they come landing down. I've seen it with my own eyes in real life and it still looks fake. Okay.
I always thought that to me is one of the coolest realizations is that when I was a kid watching the old black and white and sci-fi shows where a rocket would actually take off and land the same way, and you thought that was real, but you realized it was never real.
Right.
And now you're looking at a rocket ship land like it was in the old sci-fi movies from back in the day. It's almost creepy.
It is.
Now that's a reality.
I've seen
like a rocket taking off and landing the same way was complete sci-fi. Now it's real.
Yeah, and when you see it with your own eyes, because when you see it on video, you're like, is that real? I've seen it in real life land on the thing, and I'm like, is that real? Like, is my eyes are they messing with me? Like, it's amazing. I really like a technology. I think this is cool, but I'm pretty terrified of what it's going to be in just 6 more months, right?
When you look just in normal humanity, when you reach a certain intelligence level, you're bored with most people who are beneath you because you can't hold a conversation. So you hang out with people who are like-minded, right? Because you don't want to be bothered by the trivial nonsense of people complaining about stuff that you don't care about. Now do that to an AI. The AI is 10 times smarter than you. So what makes you think it wants to bother with you at all?
Right.
Which is the reason why you create your own demise. Because if you're creating an AI that knows it's better than you and doesn't need you around, then eventually it will act upon you not being needed.
Right. You're just not needed anymore.
Right.
I can't wait to see what bad actors are going to use this for. Oh yeah, for sure.
Forget about it, man.
For sure.
We're looking at chaos. We're looking at the beginning stages of chaos. Here's how it's going to start off. Like at the basic level, people will all have ChatGPT on their phone, like you have Google on your phone, and everybody will have their own personal voice. Yep. Like some people have Samuel Jackson, some people have all kinds of voices for all these people that they like. Some people have the voices of their old ex-girlfriend talking to them 24/7. Like, it'll be cute until the AI learns everything about us.
Yeah, it's you know what this is like? In the movies where even like Cyberpunk, right? Like, someone makes a prosthetic to help people that are disabled, right? But then the disabled people become cyborgs, right? And they actually are more powerful than the normal person, right? So then normal people start sawing off their arms so they can get a cool mechanical arm that they can now change things. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
You look at it and go, oh, they made this for good. But then people start using the good for bad. And it makes them more powerful. Neuralink chip, right? We showed that on the stream.
Why aren't people talking more about that kid?
The Neuralink
that
chip?
to me runs circles around the robot dog with the flamethrower on it.
Well, imagine
the guy is playing Civ 6 without touching a keyboard.
Just thinking about it.
That's correct. He is playing Civilization 6 with his head.
Now think about this.
With his head.
What about if they integrate ChatGPT like this into the Neuralink chip, where now he's now integrated with the computer?
That's correct. So now he's as smart as the AI. So anybody can be as smart as the AI. We're going crazy, dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So if it stands to reason that if the AI can be in a chip and the chip can be in your head, then you're as smart as the AI. We're going to go from rednecks on a planet to interstellar travel in 100 years.
Right, which then makes you think, are you AI or are you you? Right? Because if the AI is now in you, are you AI? I love these chats. This is how we end up each show the last month with AI, with chips and drones and all this other stuff.
He signed up to be the test dummy. He signed up to be the guy. He was excited about it. That kid was more excited about getting a chip in his head than I've ever seen anyone be excited about anything ever. So yeah, there's going to be problems, right? But somebody had to be first. And I think they picked the right candidate because that kid's more positive and motivated than I've ever seen any person in a doctor's office ever.
Yeah, well, people have to test stuff out, right, Krebsy? I mean, he signed up for it. The downfall was he's paralyzed from the neck down. So put a chip in my head, and if I can do stuff now, then I'm better than I was before, right?
That's correct.
So yeah, you're saying that it's separating from the skull, so that's a yikes. He's still paralyzed from the neck down. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what's the worst case scenario there?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
He's good.
He's like, a small little problem now that I can play Civilization because I can move and do stuff.
No, but my mind thinks about if he can control a video game, then what's to say they can't put him in a suit and he can walk around?
Right. Well, I said that when you saw him. You put him in an exosuit and you link it where now the suit's operating with his head, and he just like moving my arms now. Right.
Just like now.
Right.
This motion here, I'm telling the same thing to do.
Right.
Except it's an automated machine. Right. Same thing.
He wouldn't think about it. Actually, he would think about it, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it would just be normal for him. So now he's a handicapped person that can't move from the neck down, but now he's in an exosuit, and now he can lift 10 times the weight or anything else, or run faster or jump higher, all because he's attached with the Neuralink chip with a suit. Crazy.
The next 100 years are going to be insane between what Tesla's doing, what AI is, and what robotics that we have. Put those three things together. Put those three segments together and just think about what humanity is going to be.
Right. Yeah, exactly, Dave. It would be like Cyborg from DC, right? Which is crazy. And I love following technology and doing this stuff, but it's always funny to me that people are like, well, I could tell it's a robot. I could tell it's AI. Yeah, because we told you it's AI. If I didn't tell you it's AI and I just played something, right? Like this person here, I'll press play.
May 13th, 2024.
Right.
4.0. GPT-4o, O for Omni.
Right, that sounds pretty freaking good.
Human-computer interaction. It accepts as input any combination of
as
text,
an
audio,
AI. You see what I'm saying? That's crazy. Just 8 months ago, it sounded like, "Hi, how are you?" Whatever, you know, like you're like, "That's a robot." Right now, you're like, "That's a robot." Is that a robot? Like, you're doubting yourself. Anyway, that's gonna do it for episode 396 of Generation X Gaming is in the can. We appreciate you very much for watching, listening. If you like what we do here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. I'd like to thank everyone that gave the gifted memberships and became a member earlier in the show. I appreciate you very much. We do this Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can listen to us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor.fm. You can also listen to us on YouTube Music. You can watch us live right here Thursday nights, 8 p.m., like I said. On this channel, 30NSG, I operate Monday through Thursday, 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. We cover news stories, have conversations with live chat. We do uploads. We do shorts. We do gameplay. So if you like any of this stuff, come on by. Check out some of our older videos as well. And you guys have a great rest of your night. Thanks for tuning in, and see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.
Game on, guys.
They're two brothers and gamers that have been playing games since the early 1980s. Combined, they have over 65 years experience. Join them each week as they discuss and rant about gaming and entertainment news. This is Generation X Gaming.